brand new season here for the BSR Tegiwa MX5 trophy. We're into the autumn/winter series here that will carry on for the next 12 weeks, but the first race is here at Road America. Same format as before, same commentators as before, 4 15-minute races, with the final 3 being reverse grid affairs, spun by the ever so wonderful and glamorous assistant here in the comms box with me, Daniel Handover. How are we feeling today, Dan?
Oh, I'm feeling marvellous, thank you. Hello everybody, welcome as always, and thank you again as always for being a part of this series again. It's good to be back, isn't it? It's good to be back for a new season. I'm very much looking forward to it. And obviously, because Road America, this is a new round for us. I've not actually participated, I've not broadcasted at Road America for a while, and I'm intrigued to see how these MX5s do.
Yes, this is going to be absolutely brilliant. And as ever with a new season, we do as well have new sponsors. So SIM3D, Go for the Gap, have joined the BSR Tegiwa MX5 trophy, providing excellent prizes and obviously rewards for all of the drivers to try and fight for this season. And of course, Tegiwa have stayed on board as the title sponsors. You can see it's still the BSR Tegiwa MX5 trophy. Now, we come off the back, don't we, Dan, of a very exciting season, a very exciting summer season that saw Jason Cooper storm to victory, as we say, with 26 race victories over those 12 weeks of racing. But he's going to have a bit of a job to do now to defend, because more and more drivers have come to try and take his crown, most notably returning to this championship. An old favourite, if you followed the BSR series, we've got Dave Chapman out on the circuit trying to see if he can have maybe his first ever season victory.
Well, again, we're going to have to see, get new people for me as well. I think this is also the key thing. Like, I'm going in pretty open as well, to be perfectly honest. Like, this is all new territory for me. So we're just going to have to see how it goes. It's going to be like I said, let's see what happens. We know that obviously Jason Cooper is coming off of the back of the championship win last season, so we've got to make sure that he's in a position where he's got to be coming out strong straight away from the word go. We know how competitive this grid is. We were talking about it once before, Ed, that Michael Seals looking pretty fast and pretty racy today. We've also got as well, let's not forget, we do have the likes of Adam McNally. I believe this is some of the we've got people coming in from that have been in. Ben Sharp is also as well, coming from last season. So lots of people. Arthur Panzel as well. Let's not forget there are some quick drivers in this series. So the likes of Jason Cooper, he's going to have to do a hell of a lot to maintain his title.
Yeah, and last season's Pro-Am champion has been bumped up to Pro. Andy McEwen out on the circuit. We can hopefully come to see all of the action now as we get to qualifying of this maybe 6.5 kilometer long Road America circuit. And it's one that has been really enjoyable. I was racing it just the other day in the free to enter Monday night BSR MX5 series, which is just a bit of a fun muck about with everyone here just to get a feeling for the start of the season. And it is such a fun track just to absolutely throw the car through. To be very brave, very committed into, well, all of the corners, but nonetheless these first couple, because it sets you up for the long run down the second long straight of this circuit. I think there's about 3 very long flat out areas, so slipstreaming is going to be key in terms of not just getting a good qualifying lap, but also in the race means that we won't see many drivers running away with it at the front.
No, we won't. Slipstream is so key here. Apologies for the small little issues we're having with the logos on the top right-hand side. Obviously, we've got too many sponsors. We've got the amount of sponsors we've got on board. The broadcasting software can't quite cope. But yeah, big thanks again to SIM3D and Go for the Gap. Also, Tegiwa for sponsoring this ever-running series. Always good fun. So yeah, we're going to get that all sorted for you, and then we'll be bringing the sponsors in the correct format to you very, very shortly. Fiona Siddons currently on track for the first final lap, I believe. You can see the sector times at the bottom of your screen as well. Okay, so these are the sector times that you'll be able to look at. You'll be able to see straight away if people are actually on a purple sector, which is a session best, a green sector, which is on their own personal best, and you've got an orange, which is not a personal best or neither their session best as well. So you get an idea. You can't quite see the actual sector times themselves, but you get an idea as to how people are doing. And as we can see here at the moment, obviously with the start of qualifying it is completely green. Pretty much all green. A couple of purples in there as well.
Yeah, there are a few purples dotted about here, there, and everywhere. Glenn Humberston currently fastest in the session, so good effort from the AM driver. No changes as well. Important to note in the sort of couple of weeks break, iRacing have put some changes out for their new season, but nothing though affecting these MX5. So they're exactly how they were last season. Means that the drivers can try and refine their setup, refine their driving style to the same car that they were racing in last season, and try and maybe either carry on good form from the tail end of last season or start afresh, depending on how their season went. Just following the cars now through the final corner. Key to get the power nice and early. You can see it was a good exit from Glenn Humberston. Andy McEwen, though, has gone fastest. First time we've seen this evening dip into the 2-minute 31s, 2-minute 31.963. Excellent effort there, and that's going to take some beating.
It absolutely is. There is Andy McEwen. He's getting held up all in traffic now, but obviously he's doing a cool-down lap. He'll jump back to the pits, and then he'll get some fresh set of rubber. Bear in mind, we've only got, what's that, 11 minutes left of we've got 9 minutes left of qualifying. So you don't get too many laps in this series. That's the other thing as well, especially with the track like Road America. You've got 2 minutes and 30 seconds per lap. You haven't got too long. These races are only, bear in mind, 15 minutes apiece. So realistically, you've only probably got around about 6 laps to be able to set some, or maybe even 7 laps to set a good time. So, you haven't got all that long by any stretch of the imagination. So you do have to be nice and sharp and nice and quick. Adam Delmont, though, have a look at this. Adam Delmont only 0.03 of a second behind. Again, the standard times on the left-hand side that you can see. The gaps, it's just every gap is orange. Every gap is orange, which is just madness.
Yeah, almost. What on earth has happened to Jason Cooper? He's not out on the circuit at the moment. He's in the pit lane, last season's champion, seemingly having issues in this qualifying session. Has not set a representative time whatsoever, so this could be a big setback for him and his championship aspirations. Andy McEwen still fastest of the field. Having a look as well, as I say, a bit of a cross-up between Craig Schill, and I believe that is the 15 of Sean Campbell coming through. So 2 newcomers for this season, trying to come to grips with each other, trying to figure out where they are. You can see as well Craig Schill with his SIM3D sponsorship on the side of the car. And of course, sponsorship of his car, but also season sponsor as well. And now we come to a very close train of MX5s. Ben Sharp leading the way through, not going to be picking up any sort of tow, though he does have Dave Chapman right up behind him, and that will be a familiar sight to several fans of this series, as we see Ben Sharp a little bit wide out of the final corner there. Huge setback to him. Hopefully he's able to keep it out of trouble, not join across the other cars, and hopefully get back up to pace in this qualifying session. In fact, hopefully we can go back to Dave Chapman and see if we can go for a full on-board lap of this Road America Championship. It's actually out of Panzel. Good to see him back out. Here we go. Dave Chapman actually peeling off into the pits. So he's going to be getting a fresh set of tyres on, refueling as well. And then we can come to now Andy Thompson, who we should be able to see through for a whole flying lap of this Road America circuit. So down the start, finish straight into the first corner. Getting your braking point is key, just a little bit before those couple of orange cones on the left-hand side. Slowing down a little bit too much, not carrying the momentum through the first corner as much as he was hoping for, but it doesn't matter because he picks up a nice amount of slipstream from the number 13 up in front. Numbers have changed around a little bit since last season. I believe that would have been Nicholas Clibbins' number, but that is now the number of Brian Stewart for Matthews Logistics. Speaking of Nick Clibbins, I think that was the driver we've just passed there. Nick Clibbins, who has been, of course, bumped up a class from last season's pro performance. Now a pro driver, now coming into a very tight left-hander, a little bit sort of held up perhaps by car up ahead. That's one of the SIM3D entrants. Not sure who that was. And then coming up the hill underneath the Chevrolet bridge, or the Corvette bridge rather, left-hander, and then right-hander flat out. You can take it through the second of those two corners. And then again, trying to pick your braking point nicely just at the 200-meter board. Bring it in nicely. Use the angle, use the camber of the circuit, that little dip of the curb to help just sort of bring the car in. It's going to be really hard on the throttle through here. A little bit of a breathe midway through, and then power out as early as you can. Keep the nice tight line, then open up the steering wheel. Don't want to scrub the speed because it is now flat out all the way from here down into Canada corner. Just turn in nice and early, but nice and soft. Don't want to worry about losing your tyre grip, scrubbing the speed. Keep close to the cars in front, get that slipstream, and then it's all about making sure you don't take too much into this Canada corner. Brake a little bit earlier if you have a bit of slipstream to not outbrake yourself and make a mistake. Go nice and tight, and then out wide as well. You can use a lot of the runoff here on quite a few corners. It lets you get away with it, and flat out all the way through here before you come to the final corner. Try and open it out as much as you can. Right, like use the shifting of the gears down into second to really get the car pitched in nicely, get that late apex power out, and we can see if this is going to be an improvement for Andy Thompson rather. Look at how close he's getting actually to 13 of Nick Clem. Was always having to push his way through. There's a bit of a bump, and if that was a 0x, that will invalidate the lap time. So unfortunate there for Andy Thompson. No improvements coming through, even though he did set quite a few personal bests that last lap.
Yeah, good personal best. Really good lap there. Again, apologies for the issues that we're getting on the top right corner of your screen. Not entirely sure what's going on there, so we are going to be bringing those to you and getting those sorted for you, like I said, as quickly as possible. So we do apologise about that. Yeah, I mean, it's close to the front. Jason Cooper has now gone back onto form that we can see. So we do now have Jason Cooper at the front of the field by 0.2 of a second. Doesn't mean, it's the 2:31. Now that's pretty much a guaranteed slipstream, isn't it there, Ed? I think, to be perfect.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's so crucial, isn't it, to get that slipstream, but he's picked his moment very nicely. We thought he was having a bit of trouble, but he's proven us very much wrong. Jason Cooper, of course, new team for this season, running in the 5-Star Motorsport colours. As we see James Clark still rocking Swift Cooper Esports and trying to maybe get a few improvements. You can see he's not that far off of Ben Sharp's time, just about a couple of hundred shy.
Couple hundred shy, it's not too much, is it really? And well, I mean, a couple of hundreds, that's, I mean, in terms of distance, that's so small, absolutely minuscule in terms of a distance perspective. But we'll have to see how it all pans out in these last final few moments. 2.5 minutes left to go. Yeah, that 200ths of a second gap. We're going to see if that can come down. Sean Campbell also very close to the back of that is Richard Pocklington currently. So again, the gap only there. Again, another 200 seconds. Someone's had a bit of an off there. Can't quite see who that was. But I think that was Douglas Stewart, possibly. But manages to get it all going again. Look at the gap, though, between Andy McEwen and Adam Delmont. These gaps are just so close. It's absolute madness. It really is. There is, this is, we're now on with the Fiona Siddons. Got a nice bit of slipstream on the back of...
A good effort from Sean Campbell. I'm just seeing there was a few good sectors here. He's going to cross the line. I don't think he improves. Actually, he does, yeah. 8th fastest now, leapfrogging Ben Sharp. So that was a good effort. He was able to thank Andy McEwen for that one because of the slipstream he was getting on that lap. And then look at as well, Adam Delmont and Adam McNally. Good effort from those two. Up 3rd and 4th. Both good to see them returning for another season of BSR. Obviously, Adam Delmont and Adam McNally have previously been involved in BSR. I don't think we're around much last season, but are here for this. As we see Michael Seal now in a different livery, the once racer for 4040, now in Ben Sharp Racing colours. So very reminiscent of Ben Sharp's real life Civic Cup car, but this time on a Mazda.
Indeed, yes. As you say, we've had another couple of bits of movement, I think, up ahead. So Sean Campbell still ahead of Ben Sharp. I wonder what Ben Sharp can do. Can Michael Seal make an improvement this time around? No, he can't at this moment in time, but he has got one more lap. 25 seconds left to go on the clock, and then that will be it. No one will be able to set another lap time after that. I'm trying to think who the last person on will be able to set a lap will be. Can't quite see. I think it may be... No, it's not going to be Ben Sharp. He's on his final lap at the moment. He's just done a personal best Sector 2. And it's significantly quicker than Sean Campbell's personal best in Sector 2. So I wonder, could this very well be the time that Ben Sharp needs to get back up into 8th place? Jason Cooper is the only person currently running in the top 7. Everyone else is now back in the pits. So McEwen, Delmont, McNally, Fisher, Holmes and Smith have all settled for their respective positions at the moment. We will have to see if anyone can beat it. Dave Chapman, though, purple sector 5. Oh, he's got a bit wide.
That's going to be that's going to be an invalidation of his lap, but he was really going for it. Shame to see him not starting as high up as I think he was hoping, maybe expecting him to. But we know how quick, or at least I know how quick and how good of a racer Dave Chapman is. He's very smart with how he plays it. So let's see how his night goes. But just look at the competitiveness of the field. You can see Jason Cooper pole position, as he's been doing for pretty much most of last season. Andy McEwen not too far back. And then you've got Adam Delmont, Adam McNally right there with, of course, Jason Cooper's teammate, Lars Fischer, having a very good showing there for his first race of the season. Maybe his first race in BSR Mazdas as well. I can't remember seeing him in previous seasons. So good stuff from the newcomer.
Absolutely, very true indeed. We've still got a couple of people finishing up their laps. Obviously, Dave Chapman, unfortunately, that invalidation will cost him, but he is still running through the lap anyway, which is good. Really like it. Again, it's nice. It's nice, isn't it, when you get people that they still want to run their laps. They still actually, to be fair, Dave Chapman's decided to prove me wrong on that, and he's getting out of the way of everyone. Fair enough. Glenn Humberstone is on one final lap. He has done a a session best Sector 1, the green Sector 1, but unfortunately, other times very close still. I think this is the key thing. So may see a position up for Glenn Humberstone. And are we going to see, unfortunately, you can see in the bottom of your screen there, Arthur Panzel, though, is setting some good times. Is Arthur Panzel going to move up? I think he does. He
does move up one. He just moves up ahead of Andy Thompson there. So an improvement for Arthur Panzel. Some drivers maybe not getting up to speed as early as they would have been hoping for. But again, it's a little bit deceiving, I think, this circuit in terms of qualifying, because some drivers have been able to get tow, others maybe not. And then what will really be the difference maker is how they will race together on the track. Jason Cooper is going to have so many cars behind him vying for position. He's going to have to hope that all of the battling happens behind him rather than maybe to his side, maybe up in front of him. He'll be looking to get a good start. But it is a long, long run into turn 1. So as you come to the end of qualifying, we will hopefully be able to bring you the starting order for the first race of this new winter/autumn BSR Tegiwa trophy.
Yes, we will indeed. Just got Gareth Hickling, a newcomer again for this season, only 700th behind Craig Cockrell, a familiar face to the series, themselves, and Glenn Humberstone, that are just finishing up their laps. Hopefully they'll be jumping back to the pits. I would imagine it will default them to the pits anyway in a few moments. And then, as you say, we will be able to get the grid up for you and then run you through what will be the first race of this new season of the Autumn Championship of the BSR Tegiwa MX5 Trophy, sponsored by Tegiwa, Go for the Gap, and SIM3D. We have got the overlays sorted on the right-hand side now, I think, so again, apologies for the small issues that we were having there. But we are now all back up and running. Yep, still got Glenn Humberstone and Gareth Hickling currently running around the circuit, and they just changed over, in fact. So the grid will be coming up in a few moments' time.
Yes, and you might be wondering, oh, what are all these different colours? Well, we can tell you that white is pro, and obviously pro and overall pole going the way of Jason Cooper, with Andy McEwen lining up alongside him on the front row of the grid. Adam Delmont there, third place for him, ahead of Adam McNally, Lars Fischer, Lee Holmes, with Sam Smith, Sean Campbell, Ben Sharp, and James Clark rounding out your top 10. Richard Pocklington, best of the AM drivers there in 11th, ahead of James Neve in 12th. They make up the 6th row of the group with Dave Chapman, who will be starting 13th, ahead of Julian Schreier, Casper de Court, Ryan Main, Craig McDonald with Glenn Humberston 18th, Michael Seal 19th, Shane Piggott rounding out your top 20. Arthur Panzel will be starting 21st, ahead of Andy Thompson, with Craig Cockrell and Gareth Hickling 23rd and 24th. Still quite a few more drivers to run through. Liam Stimpson ahead of Harley Moss, Frank Vestner, Liam Silkstone, Craig Schill, Simon Robson, Luke Cooper, Duncan Cope, Fiona Siddons, Stephen Walden, Nick Clemens, and Brian Stewart. And there's still more as we have Douglas Stewart, Mark Oliver, and Renato Campana making up your 39, almost 40 cars for the first race of the season. And you know what? All of them have already gotten to the grid. So Jason Cooper will get this new season underway. The first race of this winter BSR Tegiwa MX5 trophy is underway, and it is a good start from Jason. Andy McEwen slotting in behind, getting all of that slipstream into the first corner. He's now going to look to the outside, and look at that. Look at all of the cars fighting for position. Pick a car and just follow them through this corner. Look at Lars Fischer, wheel to wheel with Adam McNally, who's forced wide but uses all the runoff and carries the momentum down into turn number 2. Jason Cooper streaking away up in front as there's been a change for second place. Adam Delmont, Pro-Am driver, ahead of last season's Pro-Am champion, but Andy McEwen is fighting back down this second long straightaway of this Road America circuit. Look at that battling wheel to wheel. Andy McEwen picking up some slipstream from Jason Cooper up in front will give him the advantage. Maybe a little bit too much speed. We'll have to break that little bit earlier, perhaps, into the next corner. No, he doesn't actually. Sweeps on through. Great stuff from Andy McEwen. Kept his car very bravely around the outside. Made sure that there wouldn't be contact, and they come underneath the bridge and into one of my favourite bits of this circuit. You absolutely send it across the crest and then flat out through the next corner as you see cars off either side of the road. Thankfully, they aren't on the racing surface, so that shouldn't cause too many troubles for the drivers. I think there've been a moment perhaps. Oh no! There has been. Ben Sharp's been involved in an incident. Oh, evasive manoeuvres being taken by other drivers. I think Dave Chapman going very wide out. That's unfortunately just what happens when you have about 40 cars all fighting for position. Is all Ben Sharp, careful there on your rejoin. Nearly coming to blows with another car there. This is certainly kicking off, isn't it? Already only half a lap through. There's been a spinner in the background, and I think that could be, I think it's Arthur Panzel. Arthur Panzel, perhaps. Oh no.
Not what you want at all. Let's just have a quick look, see, as we're going to go back very, very quickly on this. Just want to see what happened here. It's just a little bit too deep from Craig McDonald. Tries to get on the brakes. Just want to see what happened. He was actually taking evasive action. Just got caught up. That's a big shot. That's a big, big shot there. Not ideal. We go back to live action now. Look at this gaggle of cars. That was a bit close. And that is Shane Piggott that's currently leading this train. James Clark, Andy Thompson, Craig Cockrell, Dave Chapman, and Liam Silkstone behind. Immediately, then you got Luke Cooper as well. There's some battling going on a little bit further back. Frank Vester is having a bit of a battle. Luke Cooper's trying to fend off Simon Robson, who's currently leading the AM category with Harley Moss just behind. Dave Chapman is in the pits, interesting enough. I imagine that damage that he sustained earlier on with the incident would have cost him. But here we go. James Clark and Shane Piggott are going to go side by side as well, 2 by 2. You've got Craig Cockrell and also Andy Thompson that are going to go side by side as well. Decides that Craig Cockrell is going to have that position as well. Hello. That was a bit of a touch there. I think just unfortunately Shane Piggott, turned in a fraction too early. Didn't expect Craig Cockrell to run as wide as he did. And that is a position that has been and gone, several positions actually for Craig Cockrell that's dropped him down the field. Not what you want at all, but, oh my goodness, bit of a moment there. Who was that?
Change for the lead. Andy McEwen's just going through on Jason Cooper. You can see them side by side now. Down the hill they go through the left-hander, and McEwen is just going to have his nose in front, and Jason Cooper has to concede the corner. So now Andy McEwen leads the field underneath the little Corvette bridge here through the fast left and right-handers, flat out through the right-hander. It is such a brilliant feeling. You have to be very brave, especially as the following car, because you can't quite see the turning point, especially if you're as close as this. And now we're getting a face full of engine from that camera view back from Andy McEwen. Look at them all, though, fighting for position. This is a close fight for first, going all the way down to Adam McNally in 6th, just at the back of the train here. So it is Year One Racing leading ahead of 5-Star Racing, and then Adam Delmont for Excite Racing up there in 3rd. Lars Fisher there, 5-Star Motorsport, a new team, new driver as well. There's Jason Cooper, the old guard, last season's champion. He's not going to give this up. He's going to absolutely go for it now into Canada corner. Andy McEwen brakes a little bit early, a bit of a twitch, and it's so easy to do if you are hard onto the brakes from high speed. The rear of the car starting to break traction a little bit. So Jason Cooper now goes through into the lead of the race, and they have to try and sort themselves out single file as they come through the final corner. You don't really want to make a move because then you'll be vulnerable from the slipstream, but I don't think anyone's told Adam McNally that he's going for it, but he's not able to make it stick, has to slot in behind Sean Campbell. But Sean is having a great little race, isn't he? Up in 5th place. Plenty of newcomers doing a very good job indeed. Lars Fisher and Sean Campbell. Never seen these two before in BSR racing, but they're putting on a brilliant show nevertheless. And look at the strength of the slipstream. Andy McEwen is going to be ahead before they even come to the braking zone of turn 1.
Look at Adam Delmont.
And Adam Delmont is going to try and follow him through. Yeah, good to note that. And look at this. Side by side they go now into turn 2. Adam Delmont with the easier inside line. But Jason Cooper is very brave. We know how good he is at carrying the momentum around the outside. Do you know what? He's going to do exactly that. Then look, he's going to be vulnerable, is he? No, he is actually able to slot through. The overspeed was there. He's able to take advantage of that.
Do you know what? This is actually playing really well into the hands of Andy McEwen, because Andy McEwen now is able to just pull away at this point, because both Jason Cooper, Delmont, Fisher, Campbell, they're all going to be battling. Campbell's just got at the inside of Fisher. Is he going to be able to maintain that pace? I think he has done. Jason Cooper's got back from Adam Delmont now. How close was that? I don't know. But you could not have fit much between them, I would imagine. A bit further down the field, we have got some battles, which we will be going to in a few moments' time. But the battle here, bear in mind, the top 6, any one of these top 6 can still win at this point. It's so close. We're halfway through, so we haven't got, as I said earlier on, there isn't that many laps to take into consideration here. You've got to be careful. Jason Cooper back on the gearbox of Andy McEwen, and he's going to try and go from a very wide line for McEwen there. I wonder if he's trying to get a very late apex, but you've got to be careful because Jason Cooper, he won't need a second invitation. If there is a gap, he will go for it absolutely straight away. You've got to be so careful. He was a little bit wide, wasn't he? That has dropped him a little bit of time, but they are both breaking away, I've noticed. Have a look at the gap between Delmont and Campbell. Campbell is, I would put money on him trying to make a move. Andy McEwen is already going to go be put on the inside. He's taken the defensive line from Jason Cooper, is now on the outside. Who is going to brake later? We know that both of these drivers brake so late on the brakes. Who is it going to be? I think it's going to be Jason Cooper all around the outside of the last couple of corners, and Delmont's done the same with Campbell. This is absolutely madness. There is nothing between. If we go back to the blimp cam in a second, there is nothing between. Look at them. It's just one big long MX5.
This is brilliant. Yeah, so Jason Cooper getting ahead of Andy McEwen. I think Andy McEwen did the smarter thing there, just having that inside line, allowing Jason Cooper, if he wanted to, just sweep his car through and take that position, because if he was to stick his car on the outside, there was a chance he would have been vulnerable to allowing Adam Delmont and Sean Campbell and all those other cars to pass by him. But by holding that inside line, he wasn't so weak to maybe a car sliding down his inside, trying to take advantage of Jason Cooper's overtake. But then look at this, Andy McEwen, he sets himself up brilliantly with the slipstream down into the first corner. The tree's just obscuring our view there, but we can see Andy McEwen now into the lead of this race. Jason Cooper fighting back, though, with a great exit. I think Andy McEwen was kicking up a little bit of dirt there, loses out on the position, but gets a nice exit and can start to power down this long back straight and already actually line up a move.
Timing is key here. Timing is so key. There's going to be this back and forth. Do you know what? The person that I'm actually looking at most, look at Adam McNally. He's just sitting back. He's letting these battles just continue. He's just sitting to the guys, right, you lot crack on. I'm going to just, well, actually, I say that. He's going to, whoa, that was a send. Was that Adam McNally? Oh, no, that was too much of a send, actually.
Teammates.
Oh, no, that's not what we want to do. The golden rule, the absolute golden rule, do not have contact with your teammate. That's exactly what's happened. Not good at the first round and the first race of the autumn season here. This is actually good as well for both Jason Cooper and Andy McEwen, because again, they've both now been able to pull a bit more of a gap between Delmont and Campbell. So we might start to see now a bit of a breakaway between these two, between the pack here. It depends if the breakaway can be enough. Whoa, Delmont goes very, very wide. That will cost him a bit more time as well. He's going to have to cover the defensive. Look at the different lines that Cooper and McEwen take. So different in their lines. Very, very interesting to see. And they're both equally as fast as each other. A little bit further down the field, we do have more than 6 cars in this race. This is a bit of a battle at this moment in time between Adam McNally, who's now just tagged onto the front of the field here. Sorry, you've got Craig Cockrell, Luke Cooper, James Clark, and Shane Piggott. And this is the battle for P9. Ryan Main has actually just got the inside, possibly, of Adam McNally, or Year 1 Racing versus the Excite Motorsport car of Adam McNally. I think, do you know what that is? What if the damage is faring on Adam McNally's car a little bit too much? Because I wonder that could very well be happening. A bit more of a battle further down the field. Liam Silkstone for the other Excite Racing car goes up the inside of Andy Thompson. Good move there. But can Thompson get the run back? He's got a good run. He's got a better track position. Oh, outside of the second to last corner. That is brave. Oh, that's a bit too brave instead.
Huge moment there with Andy Thompson on 2 wheels. Whoa, that was a definite reaction from that contact, wasn't there, between those 2 cars?
That was just a little bit too, again, it's just the two cars not going into one, unfortunately. Jason Cooper is going to get passed possibly by Andy McEwen again, but now we've got Michael Seal and Sam Smith that are going to go side by side. Behind that, we've got Adam McNally and then Ryan May going to go side by side again. Adam McNally straight away takes that position back. He is not holding up at all. He wants to get back past, ideally, Sam Smith. He's got the pace, just needs to make sure he can make it stick. At the front, though, it's still insanely close. Liam Silkstone and Frank Vestner coming to blows as well. They're having a good little battle going through turn 1 side by side, down into turn 2 side by side as well. Silkstone on the outside, managing to hold the position. I think he does. Actually, you know what? It's going to be a complete drag race. The person that's going to really come out on top of this, I think, is going to be Andy Thompson, because he's got a slipstream on both of them.
Yeah, he will. But I think if I was him, I'd just slip behind and allow these two to settle their differences without yourself getting involved, and then try and pick up the scraps when they inevitably battle together. In CSS, speaking of battling together, I think we just heard a bit of contact up in front, but no cars spinning around, no cars off, so it might have been just a little bit of door banging, and that was that. Liam Stilkson then up into 14th place, settling that fight between himself and Frank Bestner. Then Thompson staying there 16th place for him. Jason Cooper is actually now ahead and leading Adam Delmont. So something must have happened to Andy McEwen. I'm not sure if we have a replay of this, Dan.
I think we're going to try and find it. Yeah, because I'm intrigued as well. Because I wonder what has happened here. Here we're going to possibly see. I wonder if there was a little bit too much of a... was it a bit of a... well, I'll tell you what. That's not going to... That's a lot of cars going into one space. So that was earlier on. That was a couple of laps ago. So I wonder if this is going to be... Here it is. So Adam McNally... so Andy McEwen just tags on the curb on the inside. And the curb just spits him out. Not what you want at all. So Andy McEwen has gone from P2 to P5. This is, again, what we talked about as well. We spoke about this quite a lot last season. Is you've got to be in a position... As Douglas Stewart goes up the inside of Duncan Cope there. Good move. Can Cope get the cut back? Don't think he can. He's a little bit too far back. Yeah, you've just got to be so careful, because any mistake is going to cost you. I mean, look at here. If someone were to have... That's 3 or 4 positions gone straight away. You've got to be so on the ball. You've got to be so careful. I tell you what, Jason Cooper...
Oh, is Douglas Stewart has
I don't know why I've gone off.
Up the rear.
Why have I gone off with that? There we go. We're back on it. Apologies for that one. I literally went off as soon as the incident happened. We'll see if we can get a replay of that as well. Adam Delmont has actually just got past Jason Cooper, I've just noticed. Oh my god. What on earth? Noah's Ark style 2x2 here. And Adam Delmont's going to try and he's going to get forced a long way around by Jason Cooper. Oh, look at this now though. Andy McEwen straight back on this. Let's have a look from Andy McEwen's roll bar. And this is just, he's definitely going to be pushed. Look at this. How close do you want to be? Andy McEwen, he's having to back off because there's nowhere for him to go. You can't go 3 wide. Road America is a big track. It's still not big enough for 3 MX5 side by side, especially into the braking zone. He goes for a lot. Oh, no, it's a bit too late on the brakes. Got caught out there. And he sent someone off. Who was that? Do you know what? I don't think he's actually made too much of it. That was worse. It looked worse than I think it was, actually, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, but another thing to mention actually about that instance, we saw Andy McEwen have just the lap prior. There's a very nasty dip on that left-hand side, isn't there? From the other side of that curve. I think everyone, both me and you, Dan, we know that little bump can really ruin your race. It's
yes, we do.
Just sort of a big trench that the wheels get stuck into, as we see. Oh, look at this. Oh, Lars Fischer getting stuck into a move on Andy McEwen and getting it to stick.
Absolutely is indeed. There we go. There's Andy McEwen's signature wide line going through the long right-hander halfway around the circuit. Manages to keep it all in check, and he now gets a good run. I can see why he takes the line.
Look at these front three.
Absolutely, front three. We're just going to jump on board with them now. There it is. It's just a one long trade. It's anyone's game here. Last lap. This is actually the last lap. Apologies. I thought there was going to be one more lap after this, but this isn't. This is the last lap. Adam Delmont is going to try and go around the outside. He's going to go the long way around. What can Jason Cooper do? He hasn't quite got the speed going in, and Delmont has to tuck in. He can't quite turn in exactly when he wanted to, though, and it's still going to be Jason Cooper that's leading going into the last corner.
Yeah, but is it going to be all about the exit now out of the final corner, or is Adam Delmont going to fancy a late lunge, perhaps? No, is it? He's going to slot in behind, maybe look a little bit to the inside, and then it's going to be a drag race up to the line. Adam Delmont is so close. You can see Jason Cooper trying to go one way, then the other. Look at as well. Sean Campbell, he's going to get slipstream on all three. He's going to try and push Adam Delmont across the line. Adam Delmont goes for it. Is he going to get it? No, he doesn't. 0.02 of a second between Jason Cooper and Adam Delmont, but it is Jason Cooper, last season's champion, starting as he means to go on with the race victory. What a finish, like 3 cars all within 1/10 of a second for the race victory. And I can be very certain that we're seeing a little bit more of that throughout the season, because this is shaping up to be a very competitive field here. Right up at the front and all the way through, as we see Glenn Humberston take the AM class victory there. Great effort from the 88 Tech Racing driver, coming home for 19th place. And as we see the rest of the drivers start to make their way across the line, I think we have a few more out on the circuit. Then when they've all crossed the line, we can start off with the first reverse grid spinning wheel of the season.
Absolutely. Let us get the spinning wheel up now, and let's have a very, very quick look. Oh, what's the money on, everyone? What's the place your bets? Place your bets. I have a feeling. Well, I tell you what, I'd absolutely.
It's going to be a full.
I'd love a full. It's not going to be a full. Oh, it's only a top 9. A complete opposite end of the spectrum from what we normally would see a full reverse grid 4 times out of 4, but a comparatively small reverse grid.
Yeah, a little bit smaller than what we're used to, but we're starting small, and I think we're going to gradually get bigger and bigger as the night goes on. I'd love a full reverse grid here with the slipstream, wouldn't you? That'd be absolutely brilliant.
Oh, it would be indeed. It would absolutely be. I tell you what, the top 9, make no mistake, this is still going to be a very, very close race. This top 9, Ryan Main will take honours for the next round, for the next race, for that pole position. We will have obviously a short moment break, and then we will come back. But yes, let's keep an eye out. Let us keep an eye out for what goes on there. I cannot believe how close that was absolute madness. Very, very good stuff indeed. Everyone now coming back to the pits, and then we will be able to make a start on, well, we'll be able to get you up the finishing results for the first race, the official finishing results, and then we'll be able to go through and run you through the order, obviously going through the next race. In fact, I think the race results are actually up now.
Yes, so first race of the season. Hopefully we can get everything sorted out. Here we go. The first race of the season is in the books, and it is a Jason Cooper victory there, winning by, well, for me it said 2 hundredths, but it was actually 17 hundredths of a second. There are 17 thousandths of a second, rather. Very close between himself and Adam Delmont. For Excite Racing also takes the Pro-Am class victory, but I think with a few more performances like that from Adam, he'll be getting moved up into Pro, with Sean Campbell there finishing in 3rd. Great effort from the debutant there for Neon Racing. Then we have Lars Fischer, 5-star motorsport teammate of Jason Cooper, finishing in fourth with Andy McEwen, showing that he definitely belongs in the pro class with a top 5 finish, ahead of Sam Smith in sixth, Michael Seal seventh, Adam McNally eighth, and Ryan Main ninth place for him, and he will be reverse grid pole position. So we say a small reverse grid, but Ryan Main will be very pleased to know that he'll be starting on the front of the field for the second race of the evening. Luke Cooper, 10th position, getting the top 10, but narrowly missing out on the reverse grid. He still finishes ahead of James Clark and Craig Cockrell, with Shane Piggott finishing 13th, Liam Stooks on 14th, Andy Thompson, Frank Vestner, Casper de Court, and Gareth Hickling there all the way down to 18th place. Then we will come to 19th place and see the first, I believe, of the not the pro-ams, the AM drivers in Glen Humberston. Yes, 19th place for the 88 Tech Racing driver, ahead of Douglas Stewart, Duncan Cope, Harley Moss, Craig Schill, Dave Chapman, and Renato Campana, last of the finishing drivers. And then the rest of the field, unfortunately, non-finishers. If you finish 2 laps down or more, you do not score any points for that particular race. But it's not all over for the drivers, because there are still 3 more races to come, Dan, and that means plenty more action here on Absolute Sim Racing.
Oh, absolutely. Very true indeed. It does indeed mean that. I think ultimately as well, when you're in a position, you've got 3 more races left. There's anything can happen. Absolutely anything can happen. So, you do have to make sure that you are, your control. You're actually making sure that you're playing the long game here with those 3 different races. But again, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how this race pans out and see what happens with this top 9 reverse grid.
Yeah, it should be a very exciting next race, and we are just waiting to see if there are any drivers that are coming through for a post-race interview. We are expecting drivers to come through all the way through the evening, but unfortunately we don't see any drivers fancying a chat with me or Dan, so it's high time, Dan, that we go to a quick little break. I'll be back with all of the action here for the next 3 races at Road America. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Absolute Sim Racing for the second race of the evening here at Road America. And you can see already it's starting to get a little bit darker out there. The track cooling down, the headlights coming on. Means it will be in for a very fast affair as the track gets cooler. The drivers get faster, it tends to be. And you might see the racing hot up as well. Jason Cooper, with that race victory, takes his tally to 98 from BSR Mazda race victories across the seasons he's entered. He's searching for the triple digits, the milestone of 100 MX5 BSR race victories. So if he can manage that here this evening, he's been showing a good turn of pace, and well, there aren't many drivers looking quicker than him at the moment, that is for certain. But the slipstream means that he has to work very hard and has to be kept very honest as well, because that was a great fight between himself and Adam Delmont right at the end there, wasn't there, Dan?
Oh, it was indeed. What a battle! We've been treated to that race one, and we've got another 3 races to go. It's just, it's something about the BSR, something about these MX5s. It's just the field is so close. The field is just so close. There's so much battling going on, and again, I do apologise if we couldn't quite get to the battle that you were in. Rest assured, though, we will be trying to make sure we do go up and down the field as much as possible. It's just, absolute madness, and we've got another 3 races to go. Can't wait.
Oh, this is brilliant, and it bodes brilliantly for the season as well. As we see the cars now on the grid, we're going to have to run you very quickly through them. So it's Ryan Main on pole position ahead of Adam McNally, Michael Seal, Sam Smith, Andy McEwen, Lars Fisher, Sharon Campbell, Adam Delmont, and Jason Cooper ahead of Luke Cooper, James Clark 11th, Craig Cockrell 12th. 13th down, we'll see Shane Piggott ahead of Liam Silkstone, Andy Thompson, Frank Bessner, Casper DeCourt, Gareth Hickling, Glenn Humberston, Douglas Stewart, Duncan Cope, Harley Moss, Craig Schill, and Dave Chapman there in 24th. Head of Renato Campana, Craig McDonald, Brian Stewart, Nick Clemens, Simon Robson, Liam Stimpson, Richard Pocklington, James Neef, Julian Schroer, Arthur Panzel, Lee Holmes, and Ben Sharp rounding out the field. I'm not running out the field because there's still a few more drivers to come. Fiona Siddons, Stephen Walden, and Mark Oliver. Oh, there's plenty of drivers here to look for, and plenty of action as well, as we'll see Ryan Main from pole position. You can see the sun setting in the background, but the racing is still to come as we see Ryan Main now. Engine notes rising and getting a good start ahead of Adam McNally. Off the line, though, Adam McNally is going to try and find a way through. He's going to go outside already into the first corner. He will just sweep through on the Year 1 Racing driver. Oh, look at this. Down the inside, Michael Seal is going to try and take second place. Oh, and I thought, was there a little bit of contact? There might have been. Andy McEwen is going to take advantage nevertheless and slot through up into 3rd place as they start to get onto the brakes for turn 2. And it will now be Adam McNally leading the field ahead of Michael Seal, Andy McEwen, Ryan Main in 4th. Sam Smith the order as well. Look at all of the cars back there dicing for position. Dave Chapman there in the midst of it all, with Harley Moss to one side and just in front Duncan Cope as well. Going back to the front, Adam Delmont, Rexite Racing, trying to find a way through, trying to see if Sam Smith is a way past him. I do like the new look of the SimTech Racing cars. Actually, you've got the SimTech Racing Pro with the gold trim, and then the old SimTech Racing with that nice shiny blue still. So good to see that they've got a nice easy distinction between Pro and Am cars. To see Casper DeCourt for 5-Star Motorsport. That's going to be a very strong entry, I'm sure. 5-Star Motorsport with the likes of Jason Cooper, Lars Fisher, and himself. Could be making a charge on the team's championship, that's for certain. But all drivers need to finish and finish well for that to happen, as we see a big moment there. That's the 79 at the front of the shot of Douglas Stewart.
See what happened here, not entirely sure. Could just be getting a tap on the grass. Obviously a lot of cars going into that. All Constantina's up, that's a bit of a send. Couldn't quite see who that was. One of the Math Logistics cars. It looks like number 20.
Was that Brian Stewart, I think?
It may be Brian Stewart. You may very well be right. Yeah, the number 9, quite possibly. Actually, it looks like the number 20. Can't quite see who that is.
No, the number 20 of Brian Stewart.
Oh, right. Apologies. Yes, so that could be why. Unfortunately, that is Douglas Stewart already out of the race. Not ideal. Definitely not what you wanted, and definitely not what we want to see. But going back now to the action, coming down for the first lap, nearly completed here for these drivers. They all come through the last corner. Bit of a gap from Adam McNally, who sent it up the inside of lap 1. Didn't need a second invitation, and he is well away with 7/10 of a gap. Andy McEwen in P2. He's actually got half a second on Michael Seal, currently leading the Pro-Am category, who's in P3. So 2 pros and 1 Pro-Am. Now this is where the slipstream now starts to take into effect. I wonder, is it going to be possibly 3 wide? It's going to have to be brave. Adam Delmont, Sean Campbell. I think it's going to be Delmont's going to go up the inside of Sam Smith. Smith has really nowhere to go apart from just trying to hang it around the outside. Adam Delmont might have a bit of a look up the inside. Don't think he's going to quite get it, though. No, he doesn't. Decides to take the racing line, try and get a cutback on both of these guys here. And I believe he may very well do it, but he's also got to be conscious as well of who's that just behind. You know what? I think that's Jason Cooper. It is indeed. Look at that. Jason Cooper just behind, already up. He's actually only up 1 position, which is interesting. Normally, Jason Cooper's up about 700 by the time the end of the first lap. But this is going to be possibly another couple. He goes up the inside of Sean Campbell, and that is going to be Sean Campbell, though. He's not making it easy for him, is he? Hangs it around the outside. Oh, bit of contact. Whoa, that was close. Jason Cooper's going to need a new race suit after that, I'm sure. That is Lee Holmes, I think. No, it's not Lee Holmes. That's Luke. I can't quite see who that was.
That was Luke Cooper that I think had just come through and now is behind Jason Cooper. So the 2 brothers no longer teammates, but maybe they'll still try and work together. Perhaps.
Nope.
Look at this down the inside. Sean Campbell going for it and taking back 8th position. These 2 have really been going at it, hammer and tongs in the background. But Luke Cooper is trying to find a way back through, but can't for the moment as the slide behind through long sweeping right-hander of the carousel. Up in front, though, Andy McEwen leads the field ahead of Adam McNally, and we're going to come to a replay here.
This is the
just
position.
exactly how that move happened, and it was underneath the Corvette bridge. Andy McEwen taking the inside line and slotting up into first position, but we come back live and see that Adam McNally is going to fight him back around the outside through Canada corner. Can't get it to work and has to slot in behind. But then look at this. Look at the gaggle of MX5's fight for position. They're side by side in the background. Not sure who that's between. I think that's Sam Smith and Adam Delmont going wheel to wheel. Oh, this is a cracking fight up at the front. And look at Andy McEwen. Is he going to run a little bit too wide? No, he doesn't. A brilliant exit out of the corner. Is that going to be enough, though? The gap was about 4/10 of a second. We're going to see just how strong the slipstream is now. Maybe go on board with Adam McNally if we can. Michael Seal's going to be pushing him along into the first corner. And already Adam McNally, from nearly half a second back, is going to be ahead into the first corner. The slipstream is so powerful here. But Andy McEwen, late on the brakes, sending it through the first corner, is just about able to keep a firm grip on first place. But again, bad exit from having to take that heavy entry. Means that once more Adam McNally has a chance to go through once more.
I can't get over how close it is. Sean Campbell's going to have a possible look on Jason Cooper. There is the move. Actually, they're going to go side by side. And you know what? Sean Campbell's actually got a bit of a run. He is going to get held up by Adam Delmont, which means Jason Cooper's going to come back. Is he going to make it 3 wide? That is a question. If they're going to make it 4 wide, all right, chaps, calm down. It's still a long way to go here, but they're going to go 2 by 2. Is there going to be... All right, Constantina's up. Knew it was going to do that. It's always going to do that through there. Sean Campbell, again, goes round the outside. Tries to at least going through turn 4. Can't quite do it. Decides to try again, going through turn 5. Jason Cooper, he's not backing out, is he? Look at Sean Campbell taking it to the championship. The last season's championship. Oh, no, big contact. 2 cars don't fit into 1 space. Jason Cooper manages somehow to keep it out of the wall after going 2 wheels into the air, becoming a motorcycle for a brief few moments. And unfortunately, that has dropped him down all the way into P17. But that's something that I'm sure halfway of this race has gone. I would not expect, unless Jason Cooper's got some serious damage, I wouldn't put out of a question for Jason Cooper to be back in the top 10 by the end of this race.
But look at that left-hand side of the screen. Nearly, it's a sea of orange and yellow, isn't there? There's only one gap between where the cars are more than a second away from each other, and it's between Gareth Hickling and Harley Moss. But aside from that, it's just one long MX5 train all the way through from first down to 18th place. Adam McNally and Andy McEwen still fighting together through Canada Corner this time. Andy McEwen looking to get a good exit, but having to stay behind just for the time being. As long as he stays in this position, stays in the front too, he's in a good place to try and take the race victory. Here we can see actually Steve Walden battling with Fiona Siddons. And that is Steve Walden for Radium Racing going through. Nice blacked out matte black livery there, but Fiona Siddons actually fighting her way back through, but can't quite get the position to stick for her, so slots back behind. Then we come to another fight a little bit further down the field. There are plenty of other cars out on the grid, and we'll try and cover the action as much as we can. And I believe it is Julian Schroer who's going to be trying to find a way through, trying to battle with that to be Craig Schill, I think, down the inside. Craig Schill will be hard on the brakes, but around the outside, Julian Schroer is going to try and carry the speed, carry the momentum through. And he's going to have a little bit more speed, but again, it's just a little bit too far back behind. As we now come up to, this is Simon Robson with Duncan Cope right behind him. And James Neve as well for Matthews Logistics. So, Simon Robson in the SimTech Pro-Am, the old SimTech colours, the white, black and blue. Just trying to keep the inside line, trying to keep Duncan Cope at bay, but can he do it as they come onto the brakes into tight left-hander? Wow, very late there from Duncan Cope. Do you know what? He's been able to make that position stick. Great stuff there.
Oh my goodness.
And then look at this. 2 by 2. Noah's arcing their way through the sweeping right-handers. Coming into the left. Look at this. You can't pick up what on earth is going to happen there. It's side by side between Delmont and McEwen up in front as well. That's actually between Campbell and McEwen, rather. The timing tower doesn't know what to do, does it?
No, it doesn't. The timing tower is just going absolutely ballistic. Apologies if you can't keep up, but to be honest, neither can we. It's a bit of a struggle. But yeah, Andy McEwen and Sean Campbell. Let's have a look at see where Jason Cooper back up to 15th. He's made up one position. His next in line is his brother Luke Cooper. Around about 8/10 of a gap between them. Oh, that was a bit wide for Sean Campbell. Wow, taking an off-road wet line there. He's going to have to be practicing that a little bit more when rain comes in iRacing, but not for the moment. It means Andy McEwen's actually got held up a little bit by the looks. He's not got a good run. He might lose one, possibly even two positions to James Clark and Sam Smith. That's Adam Delmont that's just got up the inside of Adam McNally to take the race lead as well. But Adam McNally is only about 2/10 behind. Is he going to try and make a move straight away? Oh, there's lots of cars. What on earth is going on? A little bit further down. These cars, they're just battling. They're going off the track. They're trying to gain as much advantage as they can. Just unfortunately, all of these cars, they just don't fit into those places. Oh, a big moment there for Sam Smith. I think that's Sam Smith that's gone around. No, that's Shane Piggott that's gone round. Apologies. Shane Piggott, I wonder if he got tapped. I would
Luke
put money
Cooper
on the
and
fact
Jason Cooper, I think, have been involved as well too. Cooper's caught up. We'll see exactly how that happened. So Jason Cooper here. Oh, he sees actually. Oh, tries to go around the outside. And yeah, the steering is absolutely shot. No way for Jason Cooper there. He's just out of the running, unfortunately. So that's big news in terms of the championship already. Jason Cooper out of the second race of the evening. Look at this, though. Andy McEwen down the inside of Michael Seal. And Adam McNally is going to be looking at this and thinking, oh, yes, keep fighting, lads. Keep this up. Maybe I'll be able to make something of this. Maybe I'll be able to take a race victory. But I think Andy McEwen is going to just stay ahead of Michael Seal, who gets very loose. I think a bit of bump drafting going wrong there between himself and I'm trying to figure out who that was. That could have been James Clark in the Swift Cooper Esports car. That yellow, black and white car, sort of lime green. But, oh, what a fight this is up in front. 10 cars, just over 10 cars, I think, fighting for the lead. This is brilliant. This is shaping up to be an amazing championship season already. Any one of these drivers in this top 10 could realistically challenge for the championship, but it's so early, we can't know which way to call it. Dave Chapman, what a drive he's had through the field, though. Started all the way down, I believe, in 24th place and is already up into 8th. up 16 places so far. Can he try and make it a few more, maybe bag a late podium? We are on the second to last lap here. The white flag will greet the drivers next time they come across the line. So there isn't much time for Dave Chapman to make progress. But when he is able to, he makes that progress very quickly.
Well, again, this is, you've got to be consistent. You've got to be also as well, you need to make sure that you're in a position where, you'll calculate. You've got to be calculating. Andy McEwen has actually just gone up. What if he's just gone up the inside? No, he's not. He's going to be forced around the outside. Whoa, Tokyo just after Andy, but oh no, he's been turned around. Massive crash. Absolute massive. Oh my goodness, the entire field has just been affected. Oh my word. Bear in mind, a small little mistake there from Andy McEwen just set off that massive chain reaction. Oh my word, we're going to have to see what will be, I think, a blimp cam of that. I think that's probably the best way to actually see what happened. So Andy McEwen just goes around the outside. He looks like he tags the grass. That sends around to a spin, manages to hold it. Unfortunately not. Michael Sill, I mean, nothing really that he could have done, and just carnage ensues. You've got Andy McEwen, obviously Michael Sill, Adam Delmont, Lars Fisher that got involved in that, James Clark as well to a point. That's just put, again, let's talk about the championship. That has just put the championship completely on its head, even in this first round. I know there's a long way to go and you've got 11 more rounds, but I mean, realistically, this is what's going to happen for the rest of the season. It's very, very hard, actually, in a way, for us to even participate. We know that there are several people that can win the championship, but for us, I mean, when things like that happen, who knows? We can't predict it. We just cannot predict something like that. So, and that's just, early stages of this championship. This is going to put Adam McNally on a very good top step at the podium, I reckon.
You'll never know, will you? We might look back maybe 5 rounds, 10 rounds down the line and think this was a turning point in the series. This was crucial for certain drivers. If they didn't have this moment early on, if they didn't do this, they didn't have that, they could be up there. I mean, speaking of up there, what a drive it's been from Ben Sharp, who actually comes through, and there's a big moment there for Casper de Court, another driver that we were saying big things could be expected of him in this season. But unfortunately, the newcomer getting spun around perhaps into turn number 5 or 6 or whatever you class as a corner, depending on if you think that little bends, little kinks are, oh, that's a little bit of a door-to-door bump that has a big effect on Casper de Court's car. You can see, I think it might be a little bit of too much speed perhaps being taken into the corner by, I believe that to be Sam Smith. Unfortunately, the car has reacted very violently, and Casper de Court is all the way down in 15th place now. But Ben Sharp, after the heartbreak over the first race, all of a sudden he sees himself in a much better position, all the way up into 5th, making up 31 places. Count them, 31.
It might be 32 in a minute if he can get the inside. You know what? It's going to be 32 possibly. Ben Sharp goes around the inside. He's going to have to work hard there around the start. So we saw a bit of contact earlier on in the race. Are we going to see the same again? No, we're not. But Ben Sharp just about manages to utilise all the road. He's going to do a cutback though. Is he going to do it? He might very well do. He's going to have to be close because he's got Craig Cockrell just about there. Oh, big moment from Craig Cockrell. Manages to save it. Look at Adam McNally though. I mean, he's just walking away with this.
Adam McNally to come across the line and take his first race victory of the season. He had a bit of heartbreak in the first race, but comes back to take the second. And then, oh my word, that was a photo finish and a half across the line between Sam Smith and James Clark. Sam Smith taking the Pro-Am class victory there. Great effort from himself. And then look at this, a bit of a close fight between Arthur Panzel and a very battered and bruised looking Lee Holmes. You'll be able to see Lee Holmes. He will suffer some straight line speed loss. Arthur Panzel. I don't think Arthur Panzel wants to actually start come out of the final corner in front. He wants to be behind and get that slipstream to maybe come through. Either that or a bit of sportsmanlike driving. If these two were involved in an incident early on, maybe this is Arthur Panzel's way of just pushing through Lee Holmes to help him across the line, because as we know in these MX5s, a little bit of damage to the front really does just put a dampener on your straight line speed. Your top end is essentially nowhere, and there's no way to fight cars with no damage, especially on circuits so power dominated like Road America. Arthur Panzel, though, pushing Lee Holmes across the line.
Good sportsmanship to see, isn't it? And there we go. So Hansel finishing just behind Lee Holmes. Pushing him. Good stuff indeed. Is what we like to see. Good bit of sportsmanship there. Before we get into the results, I think, Ed, shall we spin the wheel and see what is going to happen for the next race? I mean, again, we don't know. Really don't know. So let's spin the wheel. Let's see. Is it going to be a full reverse grid? I really hope it's for a full reverse grid in the way. And no, another top, another top 9. Well, there we go. Another top 9 reverse grid. I mean, did we really see less action? Not at all. I think we saw even more action that particular round. So race 2, top 9 reverse grid, which is now going to put, believe that is Liam Silkston on the front row with Liam Stimpson just alongside.
Yes, that will be a very entertaining affair, I am sure. Does, of course, help out Ben Sharp in his early stage of this championship. Looking to try and come through and take advantage of other drivers that are maybe not so fortunate. But that was still an excellent race. I'm sure we'll be treated to plenty more as well as this evening and as this season progresses. Hopefully, though, we can get the finishing order up on your screens now as the drivers make their way into the pits. And yes, we have confirmation there. Adam McNally takes the race victory of the second race of the season here at Road America, ahead of Sam Smith, who takes the Pro-Am victory from James Clark, Swift Cooper Esports. Sean Campbell, 4th place for him, ahead of Ben Sharp. What a drive that was from Ben Sharp, making up 31 places to finish 5th. Craig Cockrell finishing in 6th, and Andy Thompson 7th place, rounding out the Pro-Am podium. Liam Stimpson will finish 8th, and Liam Silkston 9th place for the Excite Racing driver. Means that he will start on reverse grid pole position, with Frank Bestner missing out, but he will still be starting 10th place, so plenty of time if he can just get in the slipstream and drive on through to get another good result from himself. Craig McDonald there will be 11th for Rapid Motorsport, ahead of Gareth Hickling, Luke Cooper, Casper DeCourt, James Neave, Julian Schreier, Craig Schill, and Lars Fisher in 18th place. Then we can go down to 19th place and hopefully see, Duncan Cope for Caddy Capes in 19th place, and then AM drivers fighting together, and it was Simon Robson who came out on top that time for the AM class victory, ahead of Brian Stewart and Fiona Siddons, who completes the top 3 for the AM class, ahead of Stephen Walden, Harley Moss, and Richard Pocklington 25th, Ryan Main 26th, ahead of Lee Holmes and Arthur Panzel. And then 29th down should be Mark Oliver, and we'll be able to see if any drivers were non-finishers as well, because there was a big incident. I'm going to try and see who came through that one down if we can, just to see the next page of the results. Here we go, and it was Arthur Panzel finishing in 28th place, ahead of drivers that are actually still going to be scoring points: Arthur Panzel, Dave Chapman, Andy McEwen, Adam Delmont, and Michael Seal and Mark Oliver. Several of those drivers finishing one lap down, involved in that big incident into Canada Corner, where Andy McEwen just made that slight mistake onto the grass on turn entry, and then the rear of the car just broke traction and slid across the racing line. And then you can see the rest of the drivers finishing 2 laps down or more, non-finishers. So those are Shane Piggott, Jason Cooper, Glenn Humberston, Renato Campana, and Douglas Stewart. But then again, no drivers coming through for a chat, but that means we can go to a short break and be back with all of the action. So stay tuned to Absolute Sim Racing. If you have enjoyed all the racing so far, be sure to subscribe, be sure to like and do all of that fun stuff, because you can be sure you'll want to stick around, because we will be covering every single round of the BSR Tegiwa MX5 trophy, and it will be an absolute blast. But we'll be back in just a few minutes time, so stay tuned. Hello everybody, welcome back to Absolute Sim Racing, and we've had two very entertaining races already, haven't we? Jason Cooper took top honours in the first one, but then suffered some setbacks in the second. How hungry do you think he'll be for these next two?
Well, I think, let's be honest, if there's anyone that's going to be hungry for another race win, it's going to be Jason Cooper, isn't it? You know, best thing to do, put that second race behind you. It's a bit of a shame. It's just one of those things. Nowhere to go, unfortunately. It is, when you've got that many cars on grid, you have to, accept that sometimes those things could very well happen. So realistically, best thing for them to do is just to crack on, not push too much again, and just play it easy. Try and get the rhythm back as well. See what happens after this next race. see where you are, probably to be fair, after the first couple of laps, and then you can start building up from there. I think Jason Cooper's probably not necessarily going to do that. It's going to be, we're going to see probably one of Jason Cooper's trademark last to first, but at the same time, though, you know, Road America is a very, very tricky track to overtake on. If purely because, well, it's not difficult to overtake, but it's more so difficult to maintain that position because you've got the slipstream then coming back on you. As soon as you overtake, you're then on the back foot unless you've got someone else ahead of you. Isn't too mad when you're starting at the back. When you start getting further near the front, the gap's getting a little bit bigger. It becomes a little bit more tricky then.
Yes, it certainly is tricky, like you say, to hold on to a position when you're in front because of how strong the slipstream is. But one thing is for certain, we're going to be in for some excellent racing if the first two are any to go by for the final two. And we do have the drivers lining up on the grid now. And we can bring you the starting order for this third race of the evening. It is Liam Silkstone on pole position for XI Racing, ahead of Liam Stimpson, Andy Thompson, Craig Cockrell, Ben Sharp, Sean Campbell, James Clark, Sam Smith, Adam McNally, and Frank Bessner. Craig Miller 11th and Gareth Hickling 12th. 13th, we'll see Luke Cooper ahead of Casper de Court, James Neve, Julian Schreier, Craig Schill, Lars Fisher, Duncan Cope, Simon Robson, Brian Stewart, Fiona Simmons, Stephen Walden, and Harley Moss. 25th. Then we have Richard Pocklington ahead of Ryan Main, Lee Holmes, Arthur Pansel, Dave Chapman, Andy McEwen, Adam Delmont, Michael Seal, Mark Oliver, Shane Piggott, Jason Cooper, and Glenn Humberston, with three more drivers to round out the field. Renato Campana, Douglas Stewart, and Nick Clibbins. And the grid has stayed as strong as it has been since the start. 39 cars making their way onto the grid, and there's a blinking Liam Silkstone at the front. Is that maybe going to upset the rhythm potentially with Liam Stimpson and Andy Thompson? We'll see how that goes. Liam Silkstone does get a decent enough getaway, but on the more rubbered in part of the circuit, Liam Stimpson is away and going to be fighting him through, squeezing him tight into the first corner. You can see the attitude of Liam Silkstone. He's trying to hold the inside line. Is he going to send it down there as he is as well? Yes. So from the race into the first corner, Liam Silkstone will hold on. Liam Stimpson is going through, and look at that. Ben Sharp already up 2 places into the first corner, doing a very good drive to get in behind and try and find a way through and maybe take his first race victory of the season. He is definitely a favourite for it if his early pace is anything to go by. And you know what? He's already up into second place, using slipstream to great effect, as we see a whole gaggle of MX5s up behind, fighting, dicing for position. Julian Schroer there battling with, I believe, Lars Fischer for 15th place. Going around the inside is Julian Schroer to try and find a way through, and the Team Gonzo MX5 isn't able to hold on to 15th place though. To slot down into there, and look at this, Ben Sharp charging through into the lead, but look at that fight between Sean Campbell and Andy Thompson, just about settling their differences with a bit of door banging and carrying on their way. Good to see that there isn't any major incidents in this early stage of the race.
Well, don't say anything just yet. You never know. We've got a lot. Oh, that was a bit of contact that I just heard back there. And, you know, I wonder if Gareth... No, so I thought Gareth Hickling had a bit of a moment. I think that was the person that got that was involved in a bit of contact, but nothing as of yet. As you say, seems to be relatively clean. Andy McEwen, look at that. Down the field is Andy McEwen, 25th. He's up 5 places already. So really making a charge through. A few places behind as well is Jason Cooper, Shane Piggott, and Michael Seal. Again, Adam Delmont is very, very close as they go through the very, very fast right-hander for the first time. Back up at the front. Whoa, I've just come off. That was a big bit of contact. Someone would have got... That was a massive incident. Who has got involved through there? So many people. Oh, my goodness. Here we go. What we saw at the last lap of the last race, we've seen it. Everyone's been involved. Literally everyone. From sort of like P25 down by the looks of it. I wonder if we're going to get a... yeah, let's get some replays of that, because that seemed to go on for a significant amount of time. I think, unfortunately, Shane Piggott was another person involved, and yes, it was. Was that where the contact actually occurred? No, it's a little bit further up. Oh my goodness. And there we go. That is just everyone. Literally everyone.
I think Fiona Siddons and Dave Chapman having that coming together. We're going to see if we can get maybe a better replay of it. And we're not actually going to go back to the front of the field and see Craig Cockrell. That was a good little battle between them. And then that was it. Yeah, Dave Chapman having to come in together with Fiona Siddons. I want to see exactly how that happened.
Here we go.
Here we go now. Then we'll see what went on. Oh, and it was Dave Chapman. Wheel onto the grass, gripping back up, coming, I think, into path of Fiona Siddons, I think. That's just, for me, nothing more than a race incident. You go wide, you get the car gripping up all of a sudden again. Very, very difficult to control. Unfortunately, it's taken out quite a chunk of the field.
Yeah, it's a shame, especially on the first lap, but at the end of the day, sometimes these things do happen. Sean Campbell, Liam Stimpson. Whoa, big moment.
Liam Silkston on the power a bit too much, I think.
Apologies, that's going to be a confusing one for the rest of the season, isn't it? Liam Silkston and Liam Stimpson. Try to say that 2 times in a row, or 3 times in a row, without muddling up your words. But yes, Silkston, unfortunately, had a moment there. We're going to see if we can get a replay of that, but I don't think we'll be able to quickly. I mean, we just caught the tail end of what happened there. So, but again, so close in this mid-pack. Ben Sharp, he's nearly pulled a second. He's nearly broken the toe. That's the key thing. The toe here is around about 1.3, 1.4 seconds if you're lucky to stay within it. If Ben Sharp can break that, I mean, that could very well be his fate sealed for that race win, providing he doesn't have any other moments on his own accord. He's got to make sure.
Struggle here, though.
He is. He's going to struggle down here.
Look at how close Sean Campbell is going to get now. Closing in, if you can see the relative, you can tell here we go. Now well under 7/10 of a second, going to be 6/10 as they go onto the brakes into Canada Corner. All of a sudden, what was looking like an impressive margin for Ben Sharp is getting just smaller and smaller by the moment. Simon Robson, look at this, going down the inside if he can on Craig Schill, but can't do so for the moment. So instead, perhaps a slot in behind. Good stuff there, though, from Craig Schill up into 17th place. Simon Robson, though, he's doing a good job holding on at the moment for the lead of the AM category, ahead of Richard Pocklington and Stephen Walden. So good fighting in these various championships all the way through. Ben Sharp getting closed down now by... Oh, Campbell is closing, isn't he? And he's actually under pressure by Stimpson. So Stimpson now down the inside of the first corner. Is he going to be able to take that position, hold on to it? They are still side by side, as you can see, coming into turn 2. And I think we just saw Sean Campbell backing out of that move just a little bit and sealing the position. Maybe trying to work together, actually, with Liam Stimpson to close that gap down to Ben Sharp. And then 3 wide. Oh, they were going to look for 3 wide, and I think they're going to sort themselves out to go 2 by 2 into the heavy braking zone down the hill into the left-hander. Who's going to come out on top? You can see the Excite Racing car of Adam McNally just in front, trying to hold on to 4th, but look at this. Andy Thompson. Oh, Andy Thompson is just going to get a little bit loose on exit, actually. And lose out now, so Adam McNally holding on to 5th, sweeps his car through and retains that position. And Sean Campbell lost that to Liam Stimpson, could be losing out to Sam Smith here.
He might very well be. We're going to have to see. Glenn Humberstone just had a small excursion. You can see the back is shot just there. At the moment, they're glowing brake discs from the rear. Interestingly enough, normally you'd have the front brakes that would normally be glowing, but not at the moment. Jason Cooper's had a bit of an off. Jason Cooper's actually had a crash with Liam Silkston, I think. Let's have a quick replay, see what happens here. And you know what? Okay, again, Jason Cooper, unfortunately, just getting involved in that. He had nowhere to go and gets tagged from the rear as well. Jason Cooper's second half of this first race is just going from bad to worse at the moment. Look at Sean Campbell pushing Liam Stimpson all the way down. Let's have a look at Sam Smith, though. Let's not count him out because he's only just behind these two. He's just letting them battle at the moment. Ben Sharp, he's pulled another second. That's a key thing to keep an eye out through there. Side by side, though, further down the field between Castor McCourt and Craig Cockrell also. It's just battles happening up and down we have seen. And it's just, it really is. So it is really difficult for us to keep up. We want to make sure that we get through everyone and we want to make sure we give everyone some airtime. There's just so many good battles going on. It's very, very hard to look. The front has stabilised a little bit for the moment, though. But as you can see, just up ahead, that gap is going to come down. Oh, that was a big moment there. Couldn't quite see who that was. I think it was actually Craig Cockrell that had a big moment there. Craig McDonald's had an off as well a little bit further down the field. It's just battling. up and down as we're saying, and it's fantastic because we get to see all of it, or as much as we can of it. Ben Sharp's just checked out at this point. 1.1 is now the gap. This is exactly what he wants. He wants to keep doing this. This is exactly what he wants to keep doing, because if he doesn't, he's going to fall back into the clutches of Sean Campbell, which again is actually being pressured by Liam Stimpson. This could very well be it. Have a look at this battle here, okay? All of these people here, from Sean Campbell all the way down, okay, to James Neve, which is in P12. I would not put any money. I couldn't say that any one of these people would not be able to get a podium out of this. Because
no, exactly.
Anything can happen. Look at the last race we saw on the last lap. Literally anything can happen. We really, really don't know. Julian Schroer again. I mean, let's not even count these chaps out for like a top 10 finish. It's just so much can happen in such a short amount of time. We are halfway through. We're over halfway through for this third race. Just going to have to see how it materialises.
Yeah, this is a one heck of an evening. Oh, my word. This is shaping up to be one brilliant season of racing here. Ben Sharp leading the way at the moment by a second. Sean Campbell, as we see Simon Robson, getting very wide out, and you can see the evasive action, anticipation from the 66 there of, who was that? I believe that was Ryan Main, going to take anticipatory evasive action that didn't necessarily need to come through, but still good awareness. Look at this now. Lars Fischer, Casper de Court going to work together for 5-Star Motorsport to get something from this race. See if they can snag a podium out of this, as Jason Cooper has been in the wars a little bit, actually, all the way down in 28th place. He's not been able to make the progress I think that he was hoping for. So now the fate of the team, I think, surely resting on both their shoulders. And look at Casper de Court to run through Canada Corner, right up behind the rear bumper now of Craig Cockrell. So Craig is going to start to feel the pressure, and down this back straight, if the gap stays as it is, he will struggle to stay in front. No amount of slipstream is going to help him unless he gets a worldly exit. He does get a good run, but I'm not sure if that is going to be enough. We're going to stick on board, aren't we, with Casper de Court? Up the hill they go, down the back straight. You see them going up through the gears. The overspeed is there for Casper de Court. He could get a run if he wants to go down the inside and try and snatch something here. Closing in right underneath the rear bumper is Sam Smith, now fighting with Liam Stimpson for third place. And then look at this, several cars all fighting for position. Not sure which one's going to be coming out on top. It's just a bit of a mess, but nice clean mess in the end, because there's no contact, which is always good to see. You see the two 5-Star Motorsport cars looking very nice. A nice livery on those machines. Would not be able to, will not be missing them at the front of the field, that's for certain as well. The Excite cars, I love a spec map. They're doing a very good job of that. So one of these novel things that you get when the new season is underway. You see all the nice shiny new paint jobs. Look at them, they're all fighting together. They're trying to find a way through, and I think we've just seen maybe one or maybe both. Are we going to see both of the 5-Star Motorsport cars get through on Craig Cockrell? Maybe not. I know Casper de Court has. Fortunately, Lars Fischer has to slot in behind. James Clark, though, for Swift Cooper Esports. He's having a good drive, isn't he? Up into 7th place. But after all of the action, after all, everything that's been going on so far this evening, usually we try and predict a driver that's going to come out on top, be the top driver of the evening. I don't know who that's going to be, Dan. Look at this, though. Up at the front, Ben Sharp and Sean Campbell have closed up to one another. Sean is right up there, trying to battle for the front. This will be, I believe, the second to last lap they are on at the moment. When they come across the line, they will be greeted by the white flag. So Sean Campbell's actually bump drafting Ben Sharp. Doesn't want Sam Smith or Liam Stimpson to close in whatsoever and get involved in the fight. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen, because Sam Smith has got the gap down to less than a second. So we could be seeing all 4 of those cars fighting for the lead in the final lap that we are now about to start. Oh my word, what a fight that is, though, from Adam McNally for 5th place all the way down through the order to, I believe that to be James Neve down in 12th. So many cars fighting for position here. The long snaking train of MX5s makes their way across the start-finish line, and they will be greeted by the white flags. This is it for all these drivers. What can they do? What can they pull out of the bag here, Dan?
Well, we don't know. We're going to have to see. And again, I don't think, to be fair, I don't think the driver's going to have much of an idea. They can just put the car at speed 3 wide going into turn 1, though. And it is going to be... Oh, whoa. That was a big moment. I can't quite see who that was. Who had a bit of a moment there? I think that was Liam Stimpson. But that's actually cost him a bit of time. Lars Fisher. Actually, it might have been Lars Fisher that had a bit of a moment. James Clark's going to go around the outside. Oh, there's a bit of a touch. There we go. Oh, my goodness. Again, it has all gone wrong. Oh, wow. Lars Fisher, Craig Cockrell, Adam McNally, Casper Court all got involved in that. And I think Luke Cooper got involved in that as well. So, again, that's just shaking everything up. Sam Smith is now in a podium position. We're still in podium position. Liam Stimpson, P4. James Clark is now 5th. Casper Court manages to work his way out of that not too bad and manages to stay in P6. So this is where it all starts to kick off now. Julian Schroer, a very, very good finishing position from him at this moment in time. He's in P10. Gareth Hickling, though, is just sort of biding his time. He's sitting there in P12. A little bit further down, though, some more battling. A possible lunge as well. That's Mark Oliver breaking it just a tad too late. And that would have cost him, and that has cost him a couple of positions, which is a little bit of a shame. Meanwhile, at the front, though, it's actually cost him about 3 positions. Meanwhile, at the front, look at this. It is still anyone's game. Do you know the person that I'd probably be wanting to be at this point? If anything, I'd want to be Sam Smith.
Yeah, you know what? Sam Smith is in a very good spot, but he has to pick his moments very nicely. I'm thinking that Sean Campbell could be in a brilliant position as well. He could try and find a way through, but look at the speed that Sam Smith has. He's going to try and take one, maybe both of them, but he's going to get covered off and then boxed in. So all of that speed he has is going to be for nothing there as Ben Sharp is able to take the line through Canada Corner. But can he stay in front coming out of the final turn? That is going to be crucial. What will happen here? Will Sam Smith be able to take something, or is Sean Campbell going to get the better of Ben Sharp on the exit? Look at Sam Smith send the speed through, but it's a great exit, a great run through the corner by Ben Sharp. And now the slipstream starts to come into effect. Sean Campbell is closing in, closing down. He's going to have to dip to the right-hand side. And as they come across the line, Ben Sharp is just able to hold on to the lead. Wow, what a race victory from Ben Sharp, who takes his first of the season. 3 races, 3 different victors. Bodes well, doesn't it, for a cracking season. As we see now, Lars Fisher was able to get ahead of Craig Cockrell, but there's some definite damage on all 3 of these cars that we're seeing across the line. Craig Fisher and Lars Fisher, sorry, Craig Schill and Craig Cockrell. Sorry, that was my mistake. I'm getting all the Craigs confused and thinking that Lars is also a Craig. There's quite a lot of drivers with similar names that we're going to try and do our best with, aren't we? The Silkstone and Stimpsons are going to be difficult, to say the least.
Yeah, it's very true, very true. Again, great finishing position. Not as close as we saw in the first race between Cooper, but at the same time, Ben Sharp, only half a tenth between himself and Sean Campbell. Very, very close indeed. A few more drivers to come across the line, and then we'll be able to get you your finishing results for race 3. And then we will be able to prep everyone for race number 4, the final race of this first round. But before we do get ahead with that, let us bring the spinning wheel. Apologies if you couldn't see that last time. Not entirely sure what has happened. But we are now in a position where we can everyone should now be able to see this. So let's spin the wheel. Let's see what we get. And it is going to be, it's a little bit higher. It's a top 11. That's slightly more, isn't it?
Slightly more, yeah, but it's been even where the reverse grids aren't so big, so maybe it's just easing the drivers into it a little. They're not going to be too thrown out, and maybe that's also a little bit better on the opening round when the drivers are getting used to each other. We don't have people put too far out of position, potentially. But the third race is in the books, and Ben Sharp is able to get his first race victory of the season there. Excellent drive from him ahead of Sean Campbell and Sam Smith, who takes the Pro-Am class victory ahead of Liam Stimpson there, with James Clark, Casper de Court Andy Thompson, Luke Cooper, Craig McDonald, and Julian Schroer in 10th place. Duncan Cope is 11th, ahead of Gareth Hickling, James Neve, Nick Clivens, Simon Robson, Ryan Main, Glenn Humberston, and Lars Fisher, 5-star motorsport, down in 18th place. There we'll come to 19th and see Craig Schill ahead of Craig Cockrell, Douglas Stewart, Mark Oliver, Renato Campana, Stephen Walden, Adam Delmont, Jason Cooper, Adam McNally, and Brian Stewart. They're in 28th position. Then 29th down, at least it should be, yep, Richard Pocklington ahead of Liam Silkstone. In fact, actually, Richard Pocklington finishes 2 laps down, does not score any points along with all of these other drivers. Unfortunate to see quite a few non-finishers, but there's still one final time for drivers to take something out of this race, and is an 11 reverse grid that will mean Duncan Cope will start the final race from pole position, Dan.
Indeed, yes. That is going to be the reverse grid. At top 11, as you say, seems some smaller reverse grids of today, but I don't necessarily think that's going to detract at all from the racing that we have seen. I mean, it's just been absolute madness. Just imagine if we had full reverse grids. It would just be madness, absolute madness. But ultimately, though, as you say, some good racing, some clean racing, which is what we like to see. We'll just have to. I'm sure we're going to get an equally good race for the final one happening in a few moments' time. But I mean, again, we just can't. We have no idea.
We just can't. We just can't. We'll leave it there. We just can't. There aren't any drivers coming through for a chat with us in the commentary box, so we will be able to go for a short break and bring you all of the action for the 4th and final race at Road America. And if the first are anything to go by, the last race is certainly going to be a corker. So stay tuned to Absolute Sim Racing. We'll be back with you very shortly. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Absolute Sim Racing. We've still got one more race to go here at Road America, and it is an 11 reverse grid. So we've been keeping it small on the reverse grid this evening, Dan, but that just means that the racing has been actually still very entertaining. We've seen plenty of draft trains from front to back, and this Road America circuit has not disappointed, and there's plenty more exciting circuits that we'll be going to over the course of the season in a week's time. As you can see on the screen, here's the calendar. Hockenheimring coming up, then we go to Sebring International, a very fun circuit, then my all-time favorite track that I've ever driven in any sim, Imola GP. What a historic and what an exciting venue that is. We have a double header of UK circuits, Donington Park and Silverstone. Before going to the Red Bull Ring, where we saw some excellent racing last season. Spa-Francorchamps is always a favourite of the drivers, and we'll be providing some fantastic racing as well, I'm sure. And Oran Park, another track that I think has got a soft spot in the hearts of many BSR racing drivers. We'll go down under there at round 9. Road Atlanta is the 10th round of the season, and that provided us with some brilliant racing last season as well. Then we go to Alton Park and Hungaroring to round out the season. The new track to iRacing will be the season finale for this 2021 Season 3 BSR MX5 Autumn Trophy.
And you know what? I am very much looking for. Oran Park's going to be amazing. Oran Park's going to be absolutely amazing in these things. It really, really is. But here is the grid for the final time in this race. We're going to have to run the through as Ed normally does quite quickly. I thought we'd give him a bit of a break this time. So we do have Julian Schroer on the front row, followed by Craig McDonald, Luke Cooper, Andy Thompson. That is in 5th place. We have, apologies, I've completely lost. That is Casper DeCourt, James Clark, Liam Simpson, Sam Smith, Sean Campbell. We then have Ben Sharp, Gareth Hickling, and James Neve. Nick Clibbins, Simon Robson, Ryan Mankland, Humberstone. We then have, a little bit further down, Lars Fisher, Craig Schill, Craig Cockrell, Douglas Stewart, Mark Oliver, Renato Campana, Stephen Walden, Adam Delmont. I think actually we're going to have to quickly call it there, unfortunately, because the racing is about to get underway, Ed.
Yeah, exactly. You do need to run through these grids a bit quickly in the...
I'm not used to it like you are.
Races. Yeah, it's a bit of a quick thing you have to quickly go through. And you can see the lights coming on now. We'll go to the front. We'll see Julian Schroer get the race underway. The final race of the evening here at Road America. And it is a good start by Craig McDonald, who's going to fight through, try and get the advantage into the first corner. Is going to be forced to go around the outside as Julian Schroer in that 444 Team Gonzo Motorsport car. Inside line, but can't hold on as Craig McDonald carries the momentum through and takes the lead of the race for Rapid Motorsport. Great stuff from Craig there. Casper DeCourt down the inside. He goes on James Clark, and you can see Liam Stimson actually taking advantage of that, slotting himself up into 6th position. And then we have, well, a bit of bump drafting between Sean Campbell and Ben Sharp. Sam Smith down on the inside in that Syntec Pro livery, even though he is a Pro-Am driver. Let's see, look at that lovely gold Syntec racing car. Very nice, very distinctive, of course. But Ben Sharp, is he going to be able to get the better? Is he going to get the advantage as they come underneath the Corvette bridge? Don't know if he does. In fact, yes, he is. He's able to slot through into 8th place. Then look at further back, Renato Campana in the thick of it there, trying to come through if he can on the 79 of Douglas Stewart. Look at how close they get together, flat out through the right-hander. Renato Campana around the outside. Great little move there.
Absolutely. Andy McEwen trying to make some positions up. He's going to try and go around the outside. Wowzer, that was a bit...
Liam Saltston is on a charge, isn't he?
He is,
trying
absolutely.
to make up from the disappointment of the 3rd race. And that's certainly a way to do it, isn't it? Sending it in cold tyres. You can see Andy McEwen having to fight the wheel a little bit through the carousel. And I noticed that as well on my race on the Mondays. You do notice the car very loose on the opening lap. If you get the rear starting to slide, especially through the it's very difficult to stop it, as we just saw. from Renato Campana, who's able to recover it, but that's left him slow, that's left him vulnerable, and all of a sudden you can see a long line of cars queuing up to try and pass him. Already Liam Sluxno's got through, and oh no, Andy McEwen.
What happened there?
Spun around, yeah, very strange, but he's able to keep it going. It doesn't seem like there was too much damage, so he'll carry on going through. Means that he'll live to fight another day. That's a very strange incident into Canada corner. We'll have a little bit of a look on the replay here. Do you think it might have been Lee Holmes?
I wonder if there was... Oh, that's not a very good camera angle, is it? I wonder if... Yeah, there was a
tap.
No,
yeah.
There was a tap, I reckon. The matte black. Can't quite see it. I can't quite remember who the matte black car is.
No, it was the 666. It was the 666 of Renato Campana, who did exactly what happened to Andy McEwen on that second race. Wheel onto the grass, braking, trying to turn in for Canada corner, and the car just didn't play ball. You can see there the onboard came into the side of Andy McEwen, but thankfully there weren't too many cars there close by to really sort of catch up to one another and cause a car park effect. So Andy McEwen got very lucky that that was a full-on side-on impact, didn't hit either of his wheels. The suspension damage is, well, if it's there, it's certainly minimal, so he can carry on going and score some good points, or score some points at the very least from this race. And that is key, of course, scoring points over the course of a 12-week-long season with 10 drop rounds. You want to try and maximize everything from each round. As there's a bit of bumping going on there. Oh, was that Luke Cooper getting a bump up the rear and got sent into, was that the side of Julian Schroer?
I think it may well have been. Let's just have a quick look a little bit. This is actually, yeah, so here it is all coming down. Now, I wonder as we see, yeah, just all concertinas up. Wow, that was close, wasn't it? That was so close. Craig McDonald managing to just about keep ahead, but yeah, Luke Cooper, it's just the concertina, and he was just the person that just unfortunately lost out the most. Ryan Main is going to have a look up the inside of Adam Delmont. He's actually already got the move done and dusted, possibly, but Delmont decides nope, and sends it around the outside, manages to get the position back. Ryan Main just couldn't quite hold that mid-corner speed that Delmont could, because he was obviously taking a slightly wider line, so he now maintains that position. Craig McDonald, Liam Simpson, Ben Sharp, Casper de Court, again, all nip and tuck, absolutely nothing in it between them. Jason Cooper's just made up a position. Yes, so Jason Cooper's decided that he wants to take both Ryan Main and Adam Delmont nice and early. Ryan Main's actually dropping off a few positions by the look, so I wonder if he got caught a little bit, or maybe he had a bit of a moment on the grass, and that cost him 3 or 4 positions. Not ideal, and definitely not what you want. Douglas Stewart, whoa, someone's whoa. Douglas Stewart's had a moment. No, Brian Stewart, apologies. Brian Stewart had a
big moment for Brian Stewart. And was that just a matter of outbraking himself a little bit too much into Canada corner, or was that a bit of a tap as well?
What
a bit of a tap there. Wow. Shane Piggott holding on for dear life there after, I think, a bit of contact might have been between himself and the number 20 just up in front of him. But that was a little bit too close, a little bit too scary. Is there 3 wide for the lead, as you do at the 5.5 minute mark. Ben Sharp looking to go through on Liam Stimpson. He's going to carry some speed, get a little bit too wide. He holds on to it, just about wrenching control back up from the steering wheel, and then will slot in behind and look for going and again for first place. Liam Stimpson, though, very good to hold on. This was a very good fight here. Sean Campbell is actually the driver who scored the most points up until now. Are we looking to try and finish strongly as well to get his championship fight off to a good start? Oh, that was very, very smart to back out of that one. That would have been a catastrophic crash if those two had come together. Ben Sharp, though, positioned his car nicely, got through into the lead of the race using the slipstream to great advantage. Oh, bit of contact. No. Oh, and there's a slide up in front. Oh, Craig McDonald, what happened there?
I don't know. I think we're going to see if we can get a bit of a replay on that, possibly. I think actually Sean Campbell did, while he may have tapped him and sent him off, he did actually do Craig McDonald a favour and point him back in a straight line. Unfortunately, that has lost him out quite a few positions, which isn't ideal. So definitely something that we want to, that we're going to have to see if we can get a bit of a replay on. But at the moment, battling still going up and down. James Neve and Julian Schroer and Andy Thompson as well having a bit of a battle. This is 4P9. Just sitting in the top 10 again, no matter where you look, there are battles absolutely everywhere. James Neave has got a very, very good run on Julian Schroer. No move is going to happen going through the right-hander, but coming into the latter half. These last final few corners, heavy braking zone these are, bear in mind. Ben Sharp has actually pulled a 1.5 second gap, so he's just moved off into the distance. Is James Neave going to make a move? Isn't catching up as quick as I thought he would, to be perfectly honest. But he still tries to go for the inside.
Ooh,
Nothing.
big
That was
moment.
Yeah, I heard some contact.
Liam Stimpson's out.
The whole field.
Several other cars are. A huge
Almost everyone.
moment from those front runners.
We've got some lot of replays to look at, haven't we? Blimey. So let's see if we can. Let's first off have a quick look and see if we can get that Craig McDonald incident. Here we go. This is earlier in the lap. No, he just loses it on his own accord, I think. Just seems to lose it on his own accord.
Loses it on his own, yeah, and goes across the number 2 car.
Or it may have actually been contact.
Oh, it could have been the smallest of contacts, but when the cars are that sort of strung up on the ragged edge, the littlest bump can upset the rhythm. And then this is what happened here. So we're going to follow Liam Stimpson here in
That's late.
Number 3 car. That is late and into his teammate.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Again, the golden rule has been broken. What is the golden rule? What is the golden rule, everyone? You can shout it from the rooftops. You don't hit your teammate.
Never hit them. Never.
Oh, no.
Under no circumstances.
Literally, under no circumstances do you hit teammate. We've seen that twice, unfortunately, in this evening's racing. Not ideal. I'm sure there will be some a few slap on the wrists from team bosses. Yeah, not ideal. Jason Cooper, incidentally, has just decided that he wants to now be in P5. Possibly, if he can make the move out. And there we go. That is Jason Cooper going to go around the outside of Craig McDonald. Manages to hold it just about. Is Craig McDonald going to get? He's technically got the inside. If he can break a tad later, he's going to be able to make that move back. Whoa, Jason Cooper cuts across the nose and manages to get up into P5. So yes, that's 20 positions all of a sudden for Jason Cooper. So there we go. That's a thing that has happened. Jason Cooper seems to have some sort of TARDIS function within his or teleportation device within his MX5. He just all of a sudden he's like, oh, he's 18th, and then you look again, oh, he's 5th, and it's all of a sudden it seems to happen in the blink of an eye. Although 10 minutes have gone, 9.5 minutes, we have got 5 minutes left to go. Ben Sharp, Casper de Court, James Clark. This is actually the biggest gaps that we've seen. We've got a 1.7 second gap between Ben Sharp and Casper de Court, and then you've got a second gap further back between Casper de Court and James Clark, and then a 3 second between Clark and Campbell. Comparatively miles apart compared to what we normally see now.
Yeah, it's a millennium, isn't it, in these cars at this track? It seems as we come now to a bit of a closer battle. This is Nick Clibbins trying to find a way through on Adam McNally. He will be going side by side. He will be trying to take the position. Do you know what? He's going to have his nose just in front, but the outside line is a difficult one to fight with, and unfortunately he will, I think, just have to concede the position here. Yet slots in back behind Adam McNally for the moment. But this is a cracking battle. You can see that the two SimTech cars are trying to find a way through, trying to fight with the Excite Racing car, but no way through just at the moment. Look at all of them though. The SimTech gold, the blue, the gold again. All 4 of these cars looking very nice. Some of my favourite liveries on the grid this season. And Nick Clibbins, he's going to try and fight his way through the slipstream, working in his favour. Is his teammate Liam Stimpson going to take advantage of this? Do you know what? He might just be able to. If he can carry the momentum around the outside, it's going to be difficult. He's going to go off just a little bit. Is the momentum there? No, there isn't. So for the moment, Adam McNally will hold on to 14th place. Is he going to be vulnerable though, coming out of the corner out of turn 2? He might just be, you know. And if I was Nick Clibbins, I'd be staying over on the left-hand side of the track and giving slipstream to my teammate. But he isn't doing that. He's maybe inadvertently helping out Adam McNally and trying to stay in 14th place. But the inside line goes the way of, a very late braking Liam Stimpson. He's going to take both of them. A little bit late, and that's suddenly thrown all of them out. And whoa! Big moment. And I'm really surprised that Adam McNally's car reacted in the way that it did, because how on earth did the car from just door-to-door contact suddenly spear to the right? But I think he's able to keep it going. He kept it out of the wall. He's only dropped down into 15th place.
Yeah, we've seen this a couple of times, haven't we? Like, sometimes you just have a little bit of just additional contact, and it just sends you round, and it's a shame. It's definitely not what you want to see, but yeah, sometimes as well, the little physics model can have a bit of a wobbly, and that's what we saw there. Jason Cooper actually did have a bit of an off as well. He's now dropped down into P10. I wonder what's going to happen here. Does he get a bit of it? That's a tap. That's a tap. Yeah, just a fraction from Craig Cockrell. I mean, to be fair, there was space left from Jason Cooper. Unfortunately, just Craig Cockrell ran a tad wide. He's going to be passed by James Need, possibly on the inside. Oh, that was a late move. That was late on the brakes from James Need. Manages to get it. Textbook move there. Very good stuff indeed. Similarly, Jason Cooper is now still in 10th. Liam Silkson and Craig Schill are battling between one another. And I think that was, that was Silkson passing Craig Schill, and that was for P11. Next person in his sight is Jason Cooper. I wonder if Silkson's going to try and let himself and Jason Cooper and Ryan Main have a bit of a battle and see if he can sort of like tag onto the back. One more lap to go, bear in mind, and all of a sudden, let us have a look. The gap has come right down. The gap is all of a sudden between Ben Sharp and Casper de Kock. As Ben Sharp goes a little bit wide, that's going to cost him even more time. The gap is now 0.4 of a second. The gaps that we saw have just shrunk considerably, and all of a sudden, this is now still, yet again, a three-way battle for the lead and for the win of one of these races.
Yeah, are we going to see a driver take 2 race victories this evening, with Ben Sharp going to get his second of the evening, or are we seeing 4 different race victors from 4 different races? Casper de Kock and James Clark will be looking to try and take top honours. And look at that, down the inside, Casper de Kock takes the lead, but Ben Sharp, he will be able to choose it if he goes for it now into Canada corner. He'll slot him behind, bide his time, and I think Ben might be not too aggrieved to be in second place at the moment, because a very long flat out section is going to be coming up as whoa, James Neve, and whoa, that was Andy Thompson up in the air, all 4 wheels off the ground at one stage, but carrying on. That was a bit too close for comfort, I think. Maybe the whole race flashed before Andy's eyes, but he's able to keep going as whoa, James Neve. I thought he was going to get speared into the wall.
I thought that for a moment there as well, to be perfectly honest, but manages to keep it out. Nice and nice. Here we go. Back at the front. This is it. This is going to be where Ben Sharp has, I reckon he's timed this. I think by now everyone knows that as long as you get a good exit out of the last corner, you don't have the drive. You cannot have the drive. Look at Clark though. James Clark's going to try and send. Oh no! Big contact between the both of them. Oh my goodness!
Whoa.
Not what you wanted. And all of a sudden, Ben Sharp has just disappeared up into the distance. That's actually going to allow Craig McDonald, bear in mind the little incident he had earlier on, that's now put him up into P3. He's going to get the podium position here as long as he can maintain that 2.5 second gap.
And that is why Ben Sharp is a former BSR champion and is going to set himself in the best possible position to have a good championship run this season. He will come across the line to take his second race victory of the season and of the night. Excellent stuff from Ben. Picked his moment, saw what was going to happen, and drove a very smart drive in that final lap. And what a first race meeting from Sean Campbell. He's going to be coming out of this round of the championship, I believe, as the championship leader after that second position finish. Been finishing very strong. Going to have a total of 3 podiums from the night. Every single race as well, finishing inside the top 10 from Sean. So a great drive from him on his debut. And then we will come now to Stephen Walden, who will navigate the final corner and come through onto the AM class podium, finishing there in 23rd place. But I tell you what, this evening has been just absolutely exceptional in terms of the racing we've been treated to, in terms of the quality of driving we've seen, how close it's been as well all throughout the evening. And tell you what, roll on Hockenheim, because this is going to be a great championship fight all the way from now up until the final round at the Hungaroring.
Indeed, it will be. Hungaroring, great track, fantastic track is the Hungaroring. I'm very excited to actually be commentating on it. A new one, obviously, for the iRacing calendar, and a very exciting one. Nevertheless, we will bring you the results in a few moments' time, and we'll also be able to bring you some interviews also in a few moments' time as well. But while we wait for the final positions, for the final people to come across the line and jump into the pits. And we can finally breathe after that, I think. Ed is the probably the best way to put it. I do want to say apologies, everyone, for the and apologies to the sponsors as well, SIM3D and Go for the Gap. Something that we will be changing for next round as well regarding the replay splash screens. So that will be adjusted moving forward from next round. So again, apologies on that, but all will be normal as of round 2. See drivers just making their way into the pits on their cooldown lap, which I think is actually probably a very well needed cooldown lap. Would you not say it?
Oh yes, this is, well, a brilliant evening, isn't it? Road America always provides some excellent racing, and we can have a word with the driver who's going to come into the commentary box. But before that, I think it's time to, hopefully as we see the drivers come now into the pits, run you through the finishing order of the final race of the season here. So we should have now official confirmation of the race results.
Not quite yet.
Not quite yet,
unfortunately. They will be with us in a few moments. So what happens is, again, for everyone while we're waiting for the results, what happens is when everyone then goes to the pits, we need everyone to, I think everyone has to cross the line, and then iRacing does its magic, works out obviously the finishing positions, puts it then into a readable format, and then we'll be able to actually read it from there. But yeah, as everyone makes their way to the pits, once everyone then goes into the pits, it will then trigger that position to be had, and here we are.
Yes, here we go. So Ben Sharp takes his second race victory of the inputs himself in a good position for the championship going forward. So does Sean Campbell with that second place finish. I believe he is now championship leader after the first round. So great stuff from the TechSense Fitzy Athena driver. Craig McDonald for Rapid Motorsport taking the Pro Am victory and also a podium finish as well. Craig Cockrell 4th, Casper Decourt in 5th, James Clark 6th, James Neve 7th, Andy Thompson, Jason Cooper and Ryan Main complete your top 10, with Liam Silkstone 11th, Craig Schill, Nick Clibbins, Liam Stimpson in 14th, Richard Pocklington 15th will take the AM class victory for the 4th race ahead of Harley Moss, who will take 2nd place in the AM category. Gareth Hickling 17th place for him, ahead of 18th place Douglas Stewart, Adam Delmont 19th, and Adam McNally completes the top 20. Andy McEwen there 21st, ahead of Stephen Walden, Lee Holmes, Simon Robson, Shane Piggott, Fiona Siddons 26th, ahead of Sam Smith, and Glenn Humberston 28th, finishing 1 lap down, but still scoring points. It's only when you finish 2 laps down or more do you start to not score any points and are ineligible for the reverse grid races, or at least eligible to be on reverse grid pole position. Then 29th place should be able to be seen, and it is Frank Besson, the last of the finishing drivers, and then the rest you can see 2 laps down or more, not scoring any points. Those would be Brian Stewart, Julian Schroer, Luke Cooper, Lars Fisher, Renato Campana, Mark Oliver, David Chapman, and Michael Seal. Unfortunately, they're not making it across the line. They're not scoring any points from that final race of the evening. But we can now bring in a driver to the commentary box, and we can have a word now. We're going to bring her into the commentary box, and it is Fiona Siddons. So Fiona, that was a fun, frantic evening's racing, but it's been a great one to be in the commentary box for. What was your perspective of the night from being in the cockpit?
One to forget for me. I had 2 races I didn't finish with contact, and the other 2 races not too bad a result actually, but Yeah, two DNFs. Started well last season, it went wrong. Hopefully it's going to work the other way around this season.
Yeah, hopefully. And we were just about to say, what would your aims be for the season? What's your sort of end goal?
End goal is definitely top 3 in the AM class.
Well, we'll be able to see if you can do exactly that. The AM class is looking very competitive. All the drivers having good races, some having not so good races. So I think into the next round at Hockenheim Ring, we'll be able to try and follow that fight and all the others throughout the season, because I'll tell you what, this has been a great start and long may it continue. Thank you very much, Fiona, though, for joining us in the comms box. Is there anybody you'd like to shout out, though, here on Absolute Sim Racing?
Yeah, my family, Andy and Jodie, who's been watching the stream. You guys for streaming again.
No problem. Thank you very much, Fiona. It's been very entertaining to watch all of the racing, and hopefully we'll be able to see plenty more action at the Hockenheim Ring. But we'll have to bid you farewell and let you get back to examining the race and looking forward to the Hockenheim Ring, I'm sure.
Yeah, see you later.
And with that, Fiona Siddons will exit the commentary box, and we've got a couple more coming through. So Dan, I'll let you have the pick of the bunch. Who do you want to bring in next to have a word with?
Well, let's have a chat with Calvin Dent, the owner of SIM3D. I would love to be able to have a chat with Calvin.
Hello.
And there we go. Calvin, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How are we doing?
I'm very good. How are you?
Oh, I've just been enjoying a good night of racing, to be fair.
Have you? It's been absolutely fantastic. We've really enjoyed it, and obviously from yourself, as because you've got a couple of cars in by the looks of it, haven't you? You've got a couple of team-sponsored cars by the looks.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit surreal to see every car with my logo on it, which is. I'll be honest. The big thing for me is, when I started on iRacing, PSR was like a big deal, and I feel like it's gone a bit quiet, and some of the racing was a bit crazy in the last couple of seasons, but today to sort of see some of the battles on track, and it's been incredible. It's really been awesome, just to watch it, and I'm not normally someone who watches the races. I normally just catch a couple of clips, but I've been watching all 4 races, and they've been incredible all night.
Oh, absolutely. They really have indeed. I think the good thing about it as well is actually that there's battling all throughout the field, isn't there? There is, no matter where you look and no matter where you actually go through, there is always battling happening, which I think is the great thing about it. It's a really good thing to have. Also, I think when you look at it in the sense of from a position, as you say, from a spectator, like I said, for myself, I don't have a chance to watch that much sim racing, but at the same time, I still try and go and watch back the races that we have here, because there's things, obviously, even though we're commentating on, that we still miss, that we are able to have a look at, obviously, as well. But I mean, again, it's great to have you on board with us for the season, and moving forward as well. Well, I mean, hopefully, what's your it's very hard to predict, but looking at from your perspective, from the racing that you've seen today, who stands out to you at the moment, would you say?
So far, I mean, obviously Ben Sharp, like 2 wins at the end. I mean, that last one was, kind of got handed it on that last lap with that incident, but he's right up there. Some of the moves he's been making were really good, and my teammate Sean Campbell, he's absolutely killed it tonight.
Very much so indeed. Well, like I said, either way, it's going to be an absolutely fantastic remainder of the season. 11 weeks to go this, and I can't wait. Calvin, before we let you go, though, anyone you'd like to give a very quick shout out to?
I would just like to say well done to Sam and Michael. It's been really well done. Everything has been really great. I'm really pleased with how today's gone, and how the racing's been. It's really nice to see BSR really up there and flying with the racing tonight.
Absolutely. Well, Calvin, absolute pleasure as always to catch up with you. Make sure you do jump in to the comms box as well for a few other interviews as the season progresses. It'd be great to hear your thoughts as the thoughts progress. But again, thank you very much for coming on board as a sponsor with SIM3D.
Thank you very much. Well, I'll be in the races for the rest of the season, so I'll definitely
there
be
we
back.
go.
I'll be going for some wins.
We've got to have a conversation at some point then.
Hopefully so, depending on how the season goes.
Nah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Brilliant. Well, Calvin, pleasure as always, and look forward to catching up with you soon.
Thank you very much, guys.
So that was Calvin Dent there, owner of SIM3D. And, well, he's going to be very, very pleased with that evening's racing. And hopefully, like we say, we'll be seeing plenty more of him as the season moves on. But we can have a word with one more driver just to round out the evening, and it will be Craig Schill, who joins us in the coach box. And Craig, that was a quite an exciting debut from you and the Wes Tech boys. How is it from your perspective?
Hard work. I am sweating buckets. It was really tough, I must admit. I haven't driven the Mazda for a while.
How was your experience like on the circuit though? Was it fun to sort of come to grips with it, and have there been things you've been able to learn maybe from?
Yeah, there was a few corners I was being a little bit tentative on to start with, and then as the more laps I put in, I realised actually I can go through that in fourth gear and just nail it, and it will stick. So yeah, it worked out. It was an education, but yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Yeah, sorry about that. I might have mispressed the button there. Sorry about that, Craig. But yeah, it's been very exciting to see all of you come through the field. And going into the next round, of course, at the Hockenheim Ring, what are your hopes for there? And also, I guess, the season at large?
Season at large is to stay consistent. Just keep putting in good results for the team. Hopefully get some points, obviously. Unfortunately, Hockenheim I'm going to have to miss because I have another commitment. So I won't actually be racing Hockenheim, but I will be back the following week. Which is a shame because I actually do quite like Hockenheim. It's a nice circuit. But
well, you'll still be in for, I guess, a majority of the season, because I think you'll come in on round 3, which is Sebring. Is that a track that you're quite fond of?
I've never driven it.
So you'll have a bit of fun. Be careful of the final bend. It's a bit bumpy.
That will be hours and hours and hours of practice. Lots of practice.
Well, be sure to come down on the Monday night then.
Oh, definitely will be. Hopefully by then we'll have a third car running. But that's all it pans out.
We'll see how that works exactly. Yeah, thank you very much, Craig, for joining us in the comms box. Before we say goodbye and let you get to your Wes Tech teammates, is there anybody you'd like to shout out here on the broadcast?
Literally just the Wes Tech team. Obviously my teammate. I've got to give a shout out to James Leggett, who designed the car and did the livery. Top bloke. Although he is quicker at racing these things than I am. But yeah, just those guys. And yourselves, obviously, for doing a great job on the commentary.
Oh, no, thank you very much for going in and having a word with us. And we've suddenly got so many more drivers lining up to have a word, so we might have to move along quickly. But thank you very much, Craig.
Not a problem. Cheers, lads.
Yeah, so like I said, Dan, we're going to have to move on quite quickly, but there are more and more drivers coming through. We've got, I believe, Ben Sharp and Adam McNally waiting. Do you think we could have time for maybe one or two more?
Yeah, we'll bring them both in. Let's bring them both in.
So into the commentary box, we can bring both of them in now because we are a little bit strapped for time. But Ben Sharp and Adam McNally join us in the comms box, and we'll start with you, Ben, and then come to you, Adam. But we're going to ask you both, how was your evening this tonight? It was quite hectic out there.
Yeah, well, race 1 was a bit of a disaster. Got spun and then I just drove into a crash, just blindsided really. And then after that, race 2 was the best race I've had in years, I think, on our racing. It was really good fun.
Yeah, made up 31 places, was it, Ben? That was some drive, and obviously taking 2 race victories towards the end of the night wasn't too bad. But Adam as well, you didn't have the worst of nights, did you? You had some pretty good results. How's it from your perspective?
It was alright. Race 1, bit of a nightmare hitting my teammate after I missed the braking zone. Race 2, got the win, good. And then race 3 and 4 just sort of went downhill. crashed out of P5 on the last lap, and then race 4 I got a drive-through coming up to the last lap, so I finished 21st from 13th. So swings and roundabouts tonight, I think.
Yeah, a bit of a mad night, but it was, like you say, a night that neither of you really came out totally clean on. Both of you had some issues, but I think quite a lot of other drivers had issues. And does that maybe play into both of your minds in the championship? We're going to start with you, Ben.
Not really. I just approach each night as an individual night, really. Again, I don't know how many I can do, so I'm just turning up and having as much fun as I can.
And what about you, Adam? Do you think you can maybe go on for a championship charge out the back of this, knowing that you're quick and can get there at the front?
I don't think maybe championship charge, been out the MX5 a while. Like it's like Ben, I've just joined just for the fun racing. It's been 2 years since I've been in BSR, so just back for some good clean MX5 racing.
Yeah, I will say it's been a while. We touched on it that we missed you last season, but good to see you back for this time, and hopefully we'll see you sticking around for the full remainder of the season. See you both out on track in a week's time at the Hockenheim Ring. But before we say goodbye to the both of you, shout outs are in order. Ben, who have you got to shout out and thank here on Absolute Sim Racing?
I just want to shout out to all the drivers, really. You join every season, like 3 seasons in a row now. We've had 40 plus drivers from the word go, which is fantastic. So just a big thanks for everyone who turns up, and mostly it's pretty good clean racing. Obviously there's some big crashes, but that's always going to be the case with big grids.
Yeah, but most importantly, sign-ups, I believe, Ben, you can correct me, are still open, and with 2 drop rounds, even if you don't make it to this at the start of the season, you can still put in a good charge later on, can't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if someone wants to sign up now or even the week after next, there's still 10 rounds. They could still win the overall championship.
Yeah, exactly. So plenty still to play for. And Adam, who have you got to thank and shout out here on the broadcast?
Just our drivers, Liam and Delmont, who all decided to sign up very last minute last week. So I had a cracking night with that, and just everyone who runs the BSR behind the scene, and you guys for doing the broadcast. It's great to watch afterwards.
No problem, Adam. And I've got to say, the more Excite racing cars, the better, because they do look very nice with the spec map shiny paints. You can't really miss them, and hopefully we'll see you up at the front a little bit more often, Adam.
Get Delmont to put his on instead of the old one.
Yeah, tell him to pull his finger out.
Exactly.
But, thank you to the both of you. I will let you go off and get to your respective discords, to your respective teammates, and celebrate what's been a very exciting first round of the championship.
Hey, thank you.
Cheers, guys.
And with that, Dan, the evening comes to a close. We've had some brilliant racing, haven't we? All evening long, but unfortunately it's time for us to say goodbye. Any closing thoughts from you before we wrap up?
I mean, I'm just excited for next week. Again, great. Well done to everyone. Well done to all the top 3 drivers. This is going to be the thing that's putting everything in a good stead for the next round. And for also the entire season. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. I can't wait.
It is going to be amazing. That is for sure. Thank you everyone that has stuck with us here on Absolute Sim Racing, that has watched all of the races from start to finish. Any feedback you can give us as well is greatly appreciated. Hitting that like button helps us out massively. It lets us know we're on the right track and giving you the very best in terms of exciting MX5 action on a Tuesday night. We do go to the Hockenheim Ring in Germany in a week's time, so make sure you keep it tuned to Absolute Sim Racing until then. And of course, coming up on Absolute Sim Racing in a couple of days' time, I believe we have the first round of the UK and Ireland Radical Race Series with Dan Handover and Jack Oliphant in the commentary box for the first round, and then I will be joining Jack Oliphant for the remainder of the season, so make sure you keep your eyes open for that in the next couple of days. Same time, same place on a Thursday night. But from me and from Dan here at Absolute Sim Racing, we wish you a very good evening. Take care and stay safe.